Chapter 747. After stopping the three Earth God exotic beasts, they couldn't escape and could only fight to the death. Unfortunately, the strength of any exotic beasts was greatly suppressed in Shenwu world, so they couldn't exert much of their strength and were quickly suppressed by the three old men. "Try harder!" the old man shouted. Lightning flashed and struck the Earth God exotic beast's body. Even though the exotic beast had curled up into a ball, it couldn't resist the terrifying lightning thaumaturgy. Its grayish-brown surface was now charred black. Long Yu had been observing from the side and didn't participate in the battle. This battle allowed him to witness the Earth God exotic beast's fighting style. It turned out that these spherical creatures could harden every part of their bodies into weapons. The most common weapons were whips, then swords. They could even harden 3 to 5 different weapons at the same time to attack their opponent. And these Earth God exotic beasts had extremely strong defenses. Even though the 7th Thaumaturgy Realm Old Man had completely suppressed them, it would still take them a long time to kill them. Long Yu, on the other hand, was very relaxed. He didn't need to do anything and only needed to stand guard for the three old men. At the same time, he also observed the Earth God exotic beasts' fighting style. About half an hour later, the three old men finally dealt with their opponents and killed the 3 Earth God exotic beasts. They also obtained 3 exotic beast crystals, which could be sold for around 60 shinbi. Selling them for 60 shinbi was already quite good. After all, that was almost 50,000 North Snow coins, which was enough to buy some Earth-grade cultivation pills in the North Snow Empire. Long Yu naturally didn't care about such a small amount of money. "Let's continue forward, I hope we can get more this time." The old man waved his hand at Long Yu and signaled for the group to continue. The other rather bulky middle-aged man seemed to be a bit displeased with Long Yu. Just now, when the 3 of them were fighting with their lives on the line, this brat was just watching from the back. Although the reason why he let Long Yu join the group was so that he could be on guard, the middle-aged man was still displeased with the current situation. "Eldarin, after we go back and sell the exotic beast crystals, we'll each get 30%. Giving this brat 10% is already good enough." The middle-aged man glanced at Long Yu and said in disdain, "Since we agreed to split it evenly, then we'll split it evenly among the 4 of us. Don't say any more." Eldarin glared at the middle-aged man and waved his hand, gesturing for the group to move out. The middle-aged man was in a bad mood. He glanced at Long Yu, then coldly snorted and left with Eldarin. Since Long Yu was wearing a mask, the 3 couldn't see his expression. The middle-aged man thought, "The brat should be grateful for Elder's care, right?" However, in reality, Long Yu's expression was as calm as ever. He didn't take this matter to heart at all. Why would he care about a mere few dozen shinbi? In fact, it was impossible for Long Yu to return with the 3 of them. He would definitely choose to travel alone after entering the depth. The 4 of them continued forward. After experiencing a massacre, Eldarin and the others had entered a combat-ready state. They were ready to face any possible battles that they might encounter. They were already 20 kilometers away from the domain of rubble. Here, the Earth God clan's strange beasts would appear more frequently. Once they appeared, there would be at least 5 of them. If it was 5 beasts with 7 divine realm, Eldarin and the other 2 could still manage to handle them. However, the patrol teams in the inner regions wouldn't have 5 beasts with 7 divine realm. Instead, they would have 1 beast with 7 divine realm leading some beasts with 6 divine realm. The strange beasts of the Earth God race could harden 7 types of weapons at the 7 Daos divinity realm to attack or defend. They were several times stronger than those at the 6 Daos divinity realm. "Be careful, stop." All of a sudden, Eldarin stopped behind a pile of rubble. Then, he called out to the crowd and told them to hide. "Eldarin, what did you find?" the burly man asked nervously. "It's a special exotic beast," Eldarin replied in a deep voice. "Special exotic beast?" The burly man's eyes lit up with excitement. "Can we deal with it?" Special exotic beasts were special cases among exotic beasts, compared to human or beast geniuses. If they could kill a special exotic beast, they would be able to obtain some special exotic beast crystals, which were valuable. However, special exotic beasts were very rare. At least, when Long Yu was training at the wellspring, he didn't see a single one. Perhaps the Emperor-level exotic beast in the Wood God clan's fortress was a special exotic beast, but it was too powerful for Long Yu, so he didn't want to fight it. He didn't expect to encounter a special exotic beast in the rubble zone. It's a gray special exotic beast. It seems to be at 7th path, but there are 2 early-stage king-level guards beside it. I'm afraid we won't be able to kill it with our strength, Eldarin said solemnly. Eldarin said solemnly, if we want to make a move, we'll need someone to lure the 2 early-stage king-stage guards away. Otherwise, we can only give up. When Eldarin said this, the 2 middle-aged men looked at Long Yu. Can't we just lure the exotic beasts away and let this kid do it? Otherwise, it'll be too easy for him to just watch from the side. The burly middle-aged man said with a grin. Bullsh *t. Eldarin scolded, young man is only at 4th king level. Wouldn't it be a one-way trip to lure away 2 early-stage king-level exotic beasts? Moreover, do you think the exotic beasts will fall for it with your cultivation? Then are we going to give up? The burly middle-aged man's face turned pale. I won't be the bait anyway. It's fine, I'll go. At this moment, Long Yu took the initiative and said indifferently, I'll be responsible for luring the 2 king-level exotic beasts away. You guys kill the special exotic beast as soon as possible. This, Eldarin was surprised to hear that. He didn't expect Long Yu to take the initiative to be the bait. That's great. I admire a brave and responsible young man like you. The burly middle-aged man laughed and patted Long Yu's shoulder. Go bravely. Don't worry, if you succeed in getting the exotic beast's crystal, you won't be mistreated when we return. Although that was what he said, a hint of disdain flashed in the burly middle-aged man's eyes. Return alive? It wasn't easy to lure away 2 king-level exotic beasts. This kid's cultivation was only at 4th king level. He was dead for sure. There was no way he could survive. However, what did that have to do with the burly middle-aged man? He only needed to cooperate with Elder and to kill the special exotic beast as soon as possible and obtain its crystal. Then, he would make a fortune when he returned. Young man, you have to think carefully. Luring king-level exotic beasts isn't child's play. You might die here. Eldarin looked at Long Yu and said with a serious expression. Don't worry. I know what I'm doing. Don't worry about me, Eldarin. Long Yu chuckled and waved his hand. He walked away from the pile of rocks and said, I'm going now. You guys get ready. To Long Yu, dealing with 2 king-level exotic beasts wasn't difficult at all. Moreover, he knew the weakness of the Earth God tribe's exotic beast. With a killing weapon like space penetration, wouldn't it be easy to deal with 2 king-level exotic beasts? Move. Under the complicated gazes of Eldarin and the other 2, Long Yu left the pile of rocks they were hiding in and charged toward the 3 resting Earth God tribe exotic beasts. Space penetration. Long Yu raised his hand and the nether dragon blade tore through the void. His target was the gray exotic beast in the middle of the 3 exotic beasts. Ordinary Earth God tribe exotic beasts were grayish-brown in color. However, that 7th king-level exotic beast was completely gray in color. It was obviously different from the others. If he could kill it, he would definitely gain a lot. However, this move of Long Yu's was noticed by the other party, and even the 2 King Realm primary stage exotic beasts reacted immediately. They condensed a thick earthen shield from their spherical bodies, blocking Long Yu's spatial penetration. Even so, the void nether dragon blade still broke through one of the thick earth shield walls and shattered the second earth shield wall. Only then did it lose the momentum to continue moving forward. He broke the defense of the two king-level exotic beasts with a single move. Although it was a hasty defense, it was already very impressive that Long Yu could do it. Of course, the two king-level exotic beasts reacted very quickly. One must know that Long Yao, the crown prince of the dragon residence, didn't have time to react to space penetration. Buzz buzz buzz! The two beasts at the initial stage of the king realm roared and charged towards Long Yu. It was obvious that they had sensed danger from Long Yu. Therefore, they had disregarded everything and attacked Long Yu. From the moment Long Yu broke through their defense, the two exotic beasts knew that they had to work together to kill Long Yu. As for that special beast, it slowly floated up and shrank into a ball. It seemed like it was preparing to shrink its defense when the king-level powerhouse left. It was very smart and knew that someone had lured the king-level powerhouse away, and the target was definitely it. Come on! Long Yu used the nether shadow evasion technique with a single thought. His entire body flew backwards, and in the blink of an eye, he was hundreds of feet away. The two king realm exotic beasts weren't to be outdone. The power of the earth elemental divine characters erupted with a loud rumble. They transformed into two streamlined figures and chased after Long Yu, quickly disappearing from their original location. This is a good chance. Hurry up and do it. The muscular middle-aged man hiding at the side immediately stood up and said in a low voice, "If we miss this chance, we can forget about getting our hands on that special beast." Although Elder N was very worried about Long Yu, now wasn't the time to worry. The only thing he could do was to kill that special beast. He had to kill it as soon as possible. Perhaps when something happened to the special beast, the two king-level exotic beasts would be attracted back. Elder N thought that this was the only way to save Long Yu's life. Kill. Chapter 748. Long Yu kept thinking about something as he lured away the two king stage exotic beasts. The exotic beasts are not without intelligence. If these two king stage exotic beasts' duty was to protect that special exotic beast, they would not have been lured away by me so easily. There is only one possibility in this situation, and that is that the special exotic beast's strength is not inferior to these two king stage exotic beasts. Long Yu speculated this conclusion and knew that he did not have much time left. When he took the initiative to lure these two king stage exotic beasts away, he did not think too much about it. He just wanted to quickly get rid of the thing in front of him. He did not expect to encounter such a thing. But no matter what, since Long Yu had lured these two king stage exotic beasts here, he naturally had to kill them. 9 Underworld Heavenly Light. The 9 underworld heavenly light that had reached the profound realm suddenly spread out, forming a pitch-black fog that shrouded the two king stage exotic beasts. Then, in the pitch-black fog, a black light flashed and the void nether dragon blade began to attack at an extremely fast speed. Due to the 9 underworld heavenly light, the perception of the two king stage exotic beasts became extremely poor. But they were king stage existences after all. After the superposition of the mind realm force, all kinds of weapons hardened by them were extremely destructive. Gusts of wind and sand danced in the air, constantly spreading in all directions, and there were faint signs of dispersing the 9 underworld heavenly light. It must be known that Long Yu's 9 underworld light had become much more stable after reaching the Great Completion realm. Even if Long Yao attacked, it would be difficult to disperse it. But now, in the face of the combined forces of two king realm beasts, it was slowly being broken. Of course, if the two exotic beasts really broke the 9 underworld heavenly light, there was no need for Long Yu to stay in the domain of rubble anymore. Space penetration. Space penetration. Long Yu did not use any other means. He just used space penetration to continuously assassinate the two king stage exotic beasts. Under the erosion of the 9 underworld heavenly light, the two exotic beasts were already badly battered. It was naturally difficult for them to defend against Long Yu's sudden attack. The king realm exotic beast that was killed first shrunk into a ball, and a barrier of earth elemental divine runes surrounded it in all directions, turning it into a powerful defensive state. However, this was useless against Long Yu. Soul explosion. Long Yu followed up with a soul explosion after the spatial puncture. The terrifying power exploded, directly shattering the King Realm exotic beast's defensive barrier. The Earth God tribe's innate defensive barrier was condensed from Earth elemental divine characters. It was more effective against concentrated attacks. Even if a needle were to pierce it, the defensive barrier would be able to disperse the force of the needle to the entire spherical surface of the defensive barrier. After the attack power was distributed, it would be very difficult for any attack to break the defensive barrier. Therefore, this kind of defensive barrier was most afraid of large-scale killing methods like soul explosion. Although the piercing power of the soul explosion was not as strong as the space penetration, its overall destructive power was stronger, and it was more suitable to be used against the defensive barrier of the Earth God clan. Spatial penetration. Immediately after, Long Yu activated the Void Nether Dragon Blade, causing it to jump out of the void, and directly stabbed the Earth God tribe exotic beast's vital point. The Earth God tribe exotic beast looked like a ball, and its defensive ability was the same in all directions, but in fact, it still had a weak point, and every Earth God tribe exotic beast's vital point was in a different position. Long Yu had the method imparted by the Death Envoy, so he knew how to find the Earth God tribe exotic beast's vital point. Every Earth God tribe exotic beast, as long as it had not surpassed the Emperor realm, would have at least one weak point when it shrunk into a ball for defense. Through the soul explosion, Long Yu clearly felt the other party's defensive barrier, and which direction was more vulnerable, so he found the other party's weak point. With a space penetration, he directly pierced through the Earth God tribe exotic beast. A one-hit kill. Having already killed one, the last one was easy to deal with. A 9 underworld dragon breath destroyed its defensive barrier, followed by a space penetration to kill the last one. King Realm early-stage exotic beasts were suppressed in Shen Wu world, and that wasn't just for show. Long Yu's attacks were comparable to a King Realm early-stage cultivator's, so he was still able to break through its defensive barrier and assassinate it through its weak point. If it was a normal King Realm early-stage cultivator, they probably wouldn't be able to kill the Earth God tribe exotic beast as easily and brutally as Long Yu did. In fact, Shen Wu world's cultivators had also studied the Earth God tribe exotic beast's weaknesses, but it wasn't as accurate as what the Death Envoy told Long Yu. More importantly, when the Death Envoy was explaining the characteristics of the exotic beasts to Long Yu, he also taught him a martial secret art, balanced control. Balanced control was a martial secret art. After comprehending it, it could increase one's perception of the flow of energy in their surroundings. This technique couldn't increase the power of any of Long Yu's techniques, but it was extremely beneficial for him in battle. In fact, as long as he trained balanced control to a certain level, he would be able to directly detect invisible existences in his surroundings, extremely heaven-defying. In Beyond Heaven world, martial secret arts were the secret arts of many big forces and races that weren't passed down. Each and every martial secret art could greatly increase the cultivator's survivability. The Death Envoy didn't know if there were any martial secret arts inheritances in Shen Wu world, but even if there were, there wouldn't be too many. After all, even the Jiryo Dragon Emperor only had 3 martial secret arts, but that was already enough to increase his battle prowess by several times. One of them was balanced control, and now Long Yu had only touched the surface of this technique. He hadn't even reached the first stage, but he was already able to greatly increase his perception of power, allowing him to quickly find the Earth God tribe's exotic beast's weakness. This undoubtedly showed how miraculous this martial secret art was. Seems like I've grasped it quite well. After Long Yu killed the 2 King Realm exotic beasts, the Death Envoy's sinister laughter reached Long Yu's ears. As long as you successfully train balanced control to the first stage, a few extra special meridians will appear in your body. If you want to improve your secret art, you only need to inject heaven and earth's spiritual energy into these meridians. To improve a martial secret art requires a huge amount of heaven and earth's spiritual energy. Extra special meridians? Long Yu frowned, but didn't think too much about it. No matter what, he didn't have the mood to focus on martial secret arts, because balanced control couldn't directly increase his battle prowess, it could only increase his perception. If he focused on this, he wouldn't even have the qualifications to participate in the Shen Wu Imperial Convention in 2 years. Of course, the martial secret art was currently a huge advantage for Long Yu, and it was an advantage that was hard for others to notice. He couldn't give up this advantage. As long as there was a chance, he definitely wouldn't give it up. After dealing with the 2 King Realm exotic beasts, Long Yu rushed back as fast as he could, but the scene that appeared in front of him shocked him. In front of the gray special beast, it wasn't just Eldarin and the other 2 who were fighting it, but as many as 11 people. 11 7 and 6 Divine Realm martial artists were besieging the gray special beast, but even so, the special beast wasn't at a disadvantage. Instead, there were already 2 human corpses on the field. In other words, there were originally a total of 13 people besieging the special beast, but now 2 had died. What was worse was that because of the fierce battle here, it seemed that the other patrol squads nearby had been attracted over retreat. A bearded man with 7 Divine Realm cultivation shouted and led the crowd away. Suddenly, only Eldarin and the 2 middle-aged men who followed him were left on the field. This made the expressions of Eldarin and the other 2 change drastically. The bearded man was a small leader of the Hurricane Bandit. He suddenly wanted to snatch the special beast, but found that he couldn't take it down after a long battle. Seeing the other patrol squads gathering, he immediately fled. How could Eldarin and the other 2 survive? At this moment, Nether Spring explosion, spatial penetration. Long Yu just happened to descend from the sky, and he directly used 2 techniques to attack the gray special beast. The effect of balanced control was activated, but to Long Yu's surprise, he couldn't find the special beast's weakness. As expected of a special beast. Impressive. Long Yu sighed and immediately shouted, Eldarin, use your strongest attack to attack the beast, it's about to die. Seeing Long Yu's attack and hearing Long Yu's words, Eldarin and the 2 middle-aged men were obviously stunned. Immediately afterward, almost without any hesitation, the 2 middle-aged men actually took the opportunity to turn around and flee, completely ignoring Long Yu's shout. The patrol squads in the distance were probably 5 or 6 miles away. 4 King Realm powerhouses, this distance would only take a few breaths' time to reach. If they didn't run now, they wouldn't be able to run later. Since Long Yu appeared to attack the special beast, then they would let Long Yu help them buy time, even if it was only for a breath's time. Long Yu hadn't expected that those 2 fellows would run away so decisively. But fortunately, there was still Olden who clenched his teeth and stayed behind. His whole body was covered with lightning divine runes, which condensed into a terrifying lightning bolt as thick as a thigh. It instantly descended on the body of that special gray beast. Look, my attack is useless against it. This fellow's defense is too strong. Watching as the unique exotic beast shrank into a gray sphere with astonishing defense, Eldarin's attacks were completely useless against it. He couldn't help but feel a little despair. That's right, the power of 7 divine tier attacks couldn't break through that thing's defense. No wonder Long Yu was able to lure away the 2 King Stage exotic beasts. Those 2 King Stage exotic beasts weren't afraid of any accidents happening to this special exotic beast at all. Eldarin, continue attacking. 2 more attacks and I'll be able to kill it, Long Yu continued with a shrewd look in his eyes. Trust me, I've already taken care of those 2 King Realm beasts. Hearing Long Yu's words, Eldarin couldn't help but be shocked. These 4 divine tier kids took care of those 2 early stage King Realm beasts? How was that possible? However, Sensing the auras of more and more exotic beasts approaching, Eldarin gritted his teeth. Since it was going to be difficult to escape anyway, he might as well make a last resort and trust this little fellow. Divine Tear, Lightning Purgatory. Eldarin unleashed another mid-grade divine ability, and it struck the special mutant beast with a resounding boom. This way, you could feel it even more clearly. Weakness. Chapter 749. At this point, Eldarin had no choice but to follow Long Yu's instructions and continue to attack the special beast. Here it is. When the lightning runes exploded once more and covered the entire surface of the special beast's gray ball, Long Yu finally found the special beast's weakness with his balanced control secret technique. God Power, Dragon Breath of the 9 Underworlds. Spatial Penetration. Long Yu unleashed one technique after another. First, he spat out a mouthful of Dragon Breath of the 9 Underworlds, completely shattering the special beast's outer defense barrier. Then, he used the Void Nether Dragon Blade to cut through the void and appeared directly at its weakness. Boom! A powerful burst of divine runes exploded and directly tore the gray special beast in half. It couldn't be any more dead. This is amazing. Eldarin stared dumbfoundedly at the scene in front of him. Never in his wildest dreams would he have imagined that the defense that so many 7-path Transcendent Realm experts couldn't break through would actually be shattered by a mere 4-path Transcendent Realm kid like Long Yu. Not to mention, after this kid shattered the exotic beast's defenses, he directly killed it with a single move. How terrifying was his strength! If Eldarin's guess was right, the special beast's true strength was definitely at the level of the Emperor Path Secret Realm. But even so, it was no match for the 4 Divine Realm brothers. Amazing. Apart from that, Eldarin couldn't think of any other words to describe Long Yu. He had lived for close to 300 years, but he had never seen such a heaven-defying existence. Divine Realm cultivators could easily live up to 200 to 300 years, or even 400 to 500 years. But for someone like Eldarin, his martial potential had already been exhausted. He probably wouldn't be able to step into the Emperor Path Secret Realm until he died of old age. Special Crystal. Long Yu reached into the corpse of the special exotic beast and directly took out a gray exotic beast crystal. He could feel that apart from the dense power of the earth elemental divine runes, it also contained a rich amount of pure spiritual energy. It was like a cultivation pill. If one absorbed the pure spiritual chi within it, they would undoubtedly be able to improve their martial cultivation. The spiritual chi contained in this special crystal far surpasses that of a desolate high-grade elixir. Long Yu found this hard to believe. This was a special crystal that surpassed even a grand desolate grade high-grade pill. If he were to sell it, it would be worth at least tens of thousands of shinbi, and there would be no market for it. Most importantly, absorbing the special crystal of this strange beast didn't seem to have the same attenuating effect as medicinal pills. If one were to consume the same type of pill, due to the meridians developing a certain resistance, the medicinal effects would be halved when consuming the same pill a second time. However, if one were to absorb this kind of special crystal, there would not be such a reduction. Roughly estimating, the amount of pure spiritual energy contained in this unique exotic beast's crystal was at least 10 times that of a great desolate grade high-grade pill. Compared to elixirs, the reason why this special crystal did not have a weakening effect was probably because the spiritual energy within it was extremely pure. The quality of the spiritual energy within elixirs was not very pure, so the more one consumed it, the worse the effect would be. However, this was not the case for the special crystal. After being absorbed by the geniuses of the exotic beast race, the spiritual energy within the crystal would undergo various reactions, turning it into the purest spiritual energy. No matter who it was, they would be able to absorb it directly. Of course, it was still impossible to absorb all of it. Ordinary cultivators would only be able to absorb 30 or 40% of it at most. Only Long Yu, who had relied on the 9 underworlds dragon seal and the void nether dragon blade, could absorb any kind of spiritual energy. Regardless of whether it was elixirs or special crystals, Long Yu could absorb them all with 100% certainty. After obtaining such a good item, there was no way Long Yu would give it to anyone else. The only person he felt a little apologetic towards was Eldarin. However, this was not the time to talk about this. 2 groups of exotic beast patrol teams are approaching, and each team has a King Realm primary stage exotic beast. We can't fight them head-on, we need to leave quickly. Long Yu unleashed his shadow eyes and sensed the situation in the surroundings. He immediately floated down and arrived beside Olden. "Thank you, Elder," and Long Yu had already put away the special crystal. He smiled at Eldarin and took out 10,000 shinbi. "I'll keep the special crystal for myself. It's going to be very dangerous here, so you should leave as soon as possible. Also, there's something I need to trouble you with." Eldarin frowned when he saw Long Yu take out 10,000 shinbi. "Why are you treating me like an outsider? You killed the exotic beast, so the special crystal should naturally belong to you. I can't accept this. Also, if there's anything you need, I'll do my best to fulfill it." Eldarin had seen Long Yu kill the exotic beast with his own eyes. How could he not know that this person was a genius? As long as a genius didn't die, he was destined to step into the King Realm, Emperor Realm, or even Great Emperor Realm in the future. Such a person was someone that Olden wanted to befriend. If he accepted the 10,000 shinbi, it would become a relationship of mutual benefit. If he wanted to befriend Long Yu, it would be a complete failure. After you leave this place, spread the news that Long Yu from the Imperial capital has killed a special beast and is fleeing toward the depths of the domain of rubble. I believe that will attract a lot of people to come after me. The corners of Long Yu's mouth curled up. His biggest target was naturally the people from the Long Manor and Falling Moon Manor who came after him. If they really did come after him, he would have something good for them to taste. "Long Yu, so you're Long Yu." Elder An's eyes widened. He didn't expect this masked young man to be the famous Long Yu. Rumor had it that Long Yu's performance in the Red Emperor's illusion realm was astonishing. Not only did he obtain the first place in the Red Emperor's ranking, but he also caught the eye of the Red Emperor. It was very likely that he would be accepted as the Red Emperor's next disciple. He didn't expect to see the legendary Long Yu here, Elder, and was clearly aware that according to rumor, Long Yu slaughtered King Realm experts like dogs. No wonder he was able to kill that unique beast with such ease. There's not much time left. Eldarin, I'll leave it to you. However, Long Yu could not afford to waste any more time here. Next, he had to seize every second. Long Yu threw 10,000 shinbi to Elder N and turned to leave. He floated up into the air and laughed heartily. "Ha ha ha. It really is a special crystal. I'm rich now." The purpose of doing this was, of course, to attract more people to hunt him down. After all, what he was going to do next was not something he could handle alone. He needed external help. No matter how much it would still be of some help to his mission. After Long Yu left, Elder and also left immediately. Although he didn't want to accept the 10,000 shinbi, it was very useful to him. He might be able to use it to enter the Imperial Path Mystic Realm and break through the limit of his lifespan. Eldarin knew that he owed Long Yu a favor. Therefore, he would naturally complete the task that Long Yu asked him to do. He would spread the news that Long Yu had obtained a special crystal. Although he didn't know what Long Yu wanted to do, he didn't think too much about it. He just needed to spread the news according to Long Yu's instructions. Soon, a piece of news spread in the periphery of the Realm of Rubble with Elder An's appearance. Long Yu had appeared in the Realm of Rubble. He had obtained a special crystal and was heading towards the depths of the Realm of Rubble. When the news spread, the people of the Dragon Residence heard about it. They naturally took action immediately. The expert of the Dragon Residence, who was at the mid-stage of the King Realm, was the first to chase into the realm of rubble. He also sent people back in other directions to inform the others of the dragon residents and the Luoyue residents. They had to catch up with Long Yu and kill Long Yu. Long Yu's roar not only attracted the attention of all the Earth God clan's exotic beasts in the surroundings, but it also attracted the attention of many teams of cultivators who were hunting exotic beasts nearby. Even the Hurricane Bandit squad leader, who had escaped not too far away, chased after Long Yu. That was a special crystal. Each one was worth at least 10,000 shinbi. Obtaining one was equivalent to working hard for several years. Who could resist such a temptation? Whether it was the Earth God tribe's beasts or the cultivators in the realm of rubble, they all chased after Long Yu. However, they soon found that their target had disappeared. That kid was right in front of them. After rising to the sky, he had completely disappeared. Where did he go? Everyone wondered. However, they soon discovered that a large group of Earth God tribe's beasts had gathered and were flying in a certain direction in the depths of the realm of rubble. Follow these beasts. Maybe they can find traces of that kid. After all, that kid killed a special beast and is the enemy of these beasts. The beasts won't let him escape so easily. Someone suggested. Immediately, a group of people chased after the large group of beasts, flying forward at high speed. Such a situation had happened several times in the past in the realm of rubble. Every time a special crystal appeared, it would set off a bloody storm. Today's scale seemed to be even larger than before. This was because Long Yu had taken the initiative to roar. Of course, it would attract more people. Quick, quick, quick! At this time, Long Yu was hiding in the Azura Ancient Palace. He urged the Azura Ancient Palace to fly towards the depths of the realm of rubble at an extremely fast speed. However, even with the Azura Ancient Palace's invisibility ability, it was still discovered by the Earth God tribe's beasts. A large group of Earth God tribe's beasts followed behind the Azura Ancient Palace. This was the biggest reason why Long Yu did not ride the Azura Ancient Palace in the beginning. Perhaps it was because his relationship with the Jiuyo Dragon Emperor was very bad. These beasts had a special method to sense the Azura Ancient Palace's existence. Under the full activation of the Azura Ancient Palace, it quickly advanced a few dozen miles. It was already very deep in the realm of rubble. This place was rarely visited by people. Cultivators who had not stepped into the Imperial Path mystic realm would basically die if they came to such a deep place. However, for Long Yu, this was not deep enough. He wanted to find the Earth God tribe's fortress and cooperate with the Death Messenger to plunder the divine text crystals in the fortress. Chapter 750. The Death Envoy's need for the Earth God clan's fortress was no less than Long Yu's. Long Yu wanted to obtain enough divine runic crystals from the Earth God clan's fortress in preparation for repairing the ancient dragon bone tower. At the same time, he could also use the divine runic crystals to increase his comprehension of the power of divine runes. As for the Death Envoy, he wanted to build the core of the Earth God clan's fortress, the Earth Elemental Divine Runic Source Stone. It seemed that as long as he obtained enough Earth Elemental Divine Runic Source Stone, the Death Envoy's remnant consciousness would be able to exist in this world for a longer period of time. Therefore, in order to obtain the Earth Elemental Divine Runic Source Stone, the Death Envoy was willing to erupt with strength comparable to an Emperor Realm expert for a short period of time. Long Yu stood in the central hall of the ancient Azura Palace. Using the Azura Source Stone, he moved the ancient Azura Palace towards the depths of the domain of rubble at the fastest speed possible. Soon, a large group of thousands of Earth God clan's strange beasts appeared behind the ancient Azura Palace. They chased after him all the way. Among them, there were more than 20 King Realm strange beasts. There were early, mid, and late-stage strange beasts. The most terrifying thing was that in the direction the ancient Azura Palace was heading, strange beasts of the Earth God clan kept appearing from all directions. There were even some Emperor Realm strange beasts that wanted to block the ancient Azura Palace's path. We're here. There's an Earth God clan's fortress in front of us. The Death Envoy's voice entered Long Yu's ears, causing him to rejoice. He looked ahead, and sure enough, he saw that on top of one of the stone pillars there was a spherical, grayish-brown building. At first glance, it looked like a giant mutated beast of the Earth God race. However, Long Yu was sure that it wasn't a mutated beast, but a fortress of mutated beasts. As Long Yu gradually approached the strange beast fortress, powerful strange beasts flew out from some of the doors of the fortress. There were countless King Realm and Emperor Realm strange beasts. When Long Yu was only 1,000 feet away from the Earth God clan's fortress, countless strange beasts had already occupied the entire sky. Grayish-brown spherical strange beasts appeared and charged towards Long Yu. Among them, there were quite a few special beasts of different colors, and they were at the King Realm and Emperor Realm, respectively. Even with the support of the Death Envoy, Long Yu couldn't help but feel his scalp go numb. This feeling was like poking a hornet's nest. He had angered so many strange beasts of the Earth God tribe, and each of them was no weaker than Long Yu. The whole scene had become extremely terrifying. Even the human and demonic cultivators who were following far behind could not help but widen their eyes and stop in their tracks. It was too shocking. What was Long Yu trying to do? How could he survive luring out so many exotic beasts? Not good. Could it be that that kid is trying to lure us here and use the exotic beasts to kill us? A squad leader of the Hurricane Bandits thought to himself. He immediately raised his hand and commanded the members of the Hurricane Bandits to slowly retreat. Not only did he want to maintain a distance where they could rush forward, but he also wanted to retreat as quickly as possible. The person in front is the Hurricane Bandit? However, at this moment another group of people arrived from behind. It was the main forces of the Dragon Manor and the Falling Moon Manor. Of course, the two great forces had heard of the Hurricane Bandits' name. They usually didn't bother to pay attention to them because the terrain of the region of rubble was too complicated to find. But now, the Hurricane Bandits' people were all gathered together. Wasn't this a heaven-sent opportunity to eliminate them? The head of the Dragon Manor and the steward of the Falling Moon Manor, two Emperor Realm experts, had arrived and directly sealed off the Hurricane Bandits' escape route. No one is allowed to retreat. Stand far away. The head of the Dragon Manor easily suppressed all the human and monster cultivators present with his Emperor Realm cultivation. Even though there was a sea of Emperor Realm beasts in front of him, Emperor Realm cultivators were the absolute experts of the human and monster cultivators' camp. With the deterrence of the head of the Dragon Manor, no one dared to act rashly. Then, the head of the Dragon Manor cast his gaze forward. In the sky more than 10 miles away, countless strange beasts of the Earth God tribe had covered the sky, drowning Long Yu who had barged in. That kid is dead for sure. Many people in the Dragon Manor began to whisper and discuss. Only the head of the Dragon Manor was familiar with Long Yu. How could such a shrewd kid willingly barge into a desperate situation like this to seek his own death? That kid couldn't just die like this. This was also the reason why the Long Manor Lord had insisted on coming here to guard this place. No matter what method Long Yu used to escape, he had to catch up to Long Yu. If he was alive, he had to see him. If he was dead, he had to see his corpse. Just as the head of the Dragon Manor was thinking about this, a sudden burst of heart-palpitating energy erupted in front of them. Even the head of the Dragon Manor couldn't help but feel a sense of fear when faced with this energy explosion from 10 miles away. What was going on? All the human and demonic cultivators were indescribably shocked. Was it a super expert among the strange beasts? The strength of the explosion was at least that of a great emperor, and it wasn't something that an ordinary great emperor could display. Divine formation of death explode. As a matter of fact, the Death Envoy was the one who had unleashed that energy explosion. When Long Yu was surrounded by countless strange beasts, the Death Envoy finally showed himself slowly. He raised his hand and unleashed the strength of a great emperor, as well as the technique of a divine formation. A divine formation was a technique that could only be cultivated by someone who had reached the 9th level of compatibility with the power of the divine runes. When the Death Envoy unleashed it, its power was definitely not inferior to an all-out attack from an expert of the same level as the Red Emperor. Countless divine runes of death rapidly swept out, forming a terrifying divine formation around the fortress of the Earth God clan. Then, with a single thought from the Death Envoy, it suddenly exploded. The power of the divine runes of death condensed into a circle of ripples that swept out in all directions. Long Yu was inside the ancient Azura Palace, and the ancient Azura Palace was able to withstand the power of the ripples. However, he was still affected by the ripples, causing him to spit out a mouthful of blood. As for the ancient Azura Palace itself, it was fine. After all, it was a top-grade ancient weapon, and it wasn't damaged like the ancient dragon skeleton tower. It was in perfect condition. This power, Long Yu was greatly surprised. The power that the Death Envoy had unleashed was much stronger than what he had seen before. He still remembered that the Death Envoy had not been able to unleash such a powerful technique when they were fighting against the Wood God clan's fortress. The Wood God clan's fortress at that time was only an incomplete fortress, so it was more than 10 times easier to destroy than the current Earth God clan's fortress. However, the current Earth God clan's fortress was a completely built structure, a real fortress. Even so, it was still destroyed by the Death Envoy's attack. When the divine formation of death erupted, a terrifying power swept across the entire sky. Not to mention the King Realm Earth God clan's strange beasts, even the Emperor Realm's strange beasts that were mixed in were instantly killed. Countless corpses of the strange beasts of the Earth God clan fell to the ground like raindrops. There were at least thousands of them. In addition, the Earth God clan's fortress that was built on the stone pillar high in the sky was split in half. Without a doubt, the Death Envoy's attack had directly destroyed the fortress of the Earth God clan. Could it be that the Death Envoy's strength has increased greatly after absorbing the wood element divine runic source stone? Long Yu was certain that the Death Envoy's current strength had something to do with the harvest from the spring heavenly pagoda. As for the specifics, Long Yu could not guess. Even if he asked the Death Envoy, the latter might not say, "Good chance." Of course, Long Yu would not stay idle. Although he was injured by the divine formation of death's power, he immediately swallowed a desolate-grade healing pill to recover. At the same time, he urged the invisible Azura ancient palace to fly towards the strange beast corpses that filled the sky. In just a moment, he had stored all the Earth God clan's strange beast corpses into the Azura ancient palace. This meant that he would have countless strange beast crystals. Although the value of ordinary divine runic crystals was not high, there were 4,000 to 5,000 of them, which was worth at least 100,000 shinbi. After all, there was no lack of Emperor Realm's strange beast crystals. Most importantly, there were 3 special beast corpses that could be obtained from them. To Long Yu, these were all extremely useful treasures. A special crystal left behind by an Emperor Realm's strange beast, and 2 King Realm's strange beast crystals. Each one is stronger than the one I obtained before, and contains even more pure spirit energy. I'm rich this time. Long Yu suppressed the joy in his heart, raised his head, and hurriedly urged the Azura ancient palace to fly towards the Earth God clan's fortress. He knew that what he had now was only the tip of the iceberg. The real wealth was inside the Earth God clan's fortress. Whether it was the divine runic crystals that he wanted or the Death Envoy's divine runic source stone, they were all top-notch treasures that were hard to obtain in the Shen Wu world. No matter what, he had to obtain the most important core of the Earth God clan's fortress, the divine runic source stone. Although Long Yu did not know the specifics, he could speculate that it was definitely the key to the Death Envoy's explosive power. If he did not obtain the divine runic source stone this time, it would be very difficult for him to get another chance. begin looting. Long Yu could feel the terrifying divine runic fluctuations coming from the Earth God clan's fortress, but he was not afraid. Instead, he urged the Azura ancient palace forward. Right now, there should be an Emperor Realm strange beast fighting the Death Envoy inside the Earth God clan's fortress. As for Long Yu, what he needed to do now was to break into the Earth God clan's fortress and take everything he needed. Compared to the Earth God clan's fortress, the Azura ancient palace seemed very small as it approached. It was easy to see just how big this Earth God clan's fortress was. Long Yu urged the Azura ancient palace to rampage through the broken Earth God clan's fortress. Very quickly, he collected several divine runic crystals that were blown out by the Death Envoy's explosion. Earth Elemental Divine Runic Crystals, all first-rank divine runic crystals. I'm rich. This Earth God clan's fortress is much bigger than the Wood God clan's fortress from before. As expected of the Death Envoy, powerful, powerful. Long Yu thought to himself as he began to loot without restraint. He used the Azura ancient palace to absorb all the divine runic crystals. When he encountered King Realm and Emperor Realm strange beasts, Long Yu would directly send them flying. As long as he was not surrounded by more than 5 Emperor Realm strange beasts, the Azura ancient palace would be fine. However, in such a chaotic situation, how could there be so many Emperor Realm strange beasts surrounding Long Yu? Just the explosive power that the Death Envoy had just unleashed was enough for an Emperor Realm strange beast to summon a large group of Emperor Realm strange beasts to help deal with it. In short, the Earth God clan's fortress was at its weakest right now. Chapter 751. More than 10 kilometers away from the Earth God race's fortress, the Long Manor Lord, the Luoyue Manor's steward, the Hurricane Bandits, and the others who came to take advantage of the situation numbered more than 1,000 people. Most of these people were at the Divine Secret Realm. There were 2 Emperor Realm experts and more than 10 King Realm experts. They were all looking at the situation in front of them in shock. A terrifying wave of energy killed all the beasts in the sky. Then, the bodies of the beasts disappeared without a trace. Immediately afterward, waves of Emperor Realm experts' auras came from the Earth God's fortress. Clearly, there were 2 Emperor Realm experts fighting. Emperor Realm? That kid has the strength of an Emperor Realm expert? This is impossible. The Long Manor Lord's face was gloomy. He followed the crowd here and knew that it was Long Yu's doing. However, how could Long Yu provoke an Emperor Realm beast? If Long Yu had such strength, why would he run away from the pursuit of the Long Manor, Luoyue Manor, and even Emperor Yundan? For some reason, the Dragon Mansion's Mansion Lord felt that the situation was not good. However, he was reluctant to leave. Long Yu had killed his son and was standing right in front of him. Even if something unexpected happens, I can leave safely with the Universe Scroll. There's no need to worry. The Long Manor Lord thought to himself and gradually calmed down. Compared to his peace of mind, the Hurricane Bandits were extremely anxious. They were forced to stay behind by the Long Manor Lord. They didn't know what the Long Manor Lord wanted to do. They were worried because there were beasts' nests in front of them. It was said that there were Emperor Realm beasts in every nest. If the Emperor Realm beasts came, would they be able to survive? Many of the Hurricane Bandits wanted to escape. They didn't want to move in groups. They were just a group of robbers in the domain of rubble. Many people, on the other hand, had shrewd looks on their faces when they saw what was happening at the fortress of the Earth God clan. Things like this rarely happened. Even a beast's nest was smashed in half. They might be able to pick up some benefits in the end. This was the mentality of many people. Wealth came from danger. Most human and demonic cultivators had the same idea. If they wanted to obtain enough benefits, how could there not be any risks? What's more, there wasn't any danger yet. Clearly, something was restraining the Emperor Realm beasts. Otherwise, they would have been targeted long ago. If there was danger, they all had their own life-saving methods. Even a Monarch Realm beast might not be able to kill all of them. Compared to the anxiety of the people in the distance, Long Yu was happily plundering everything in the Earth God clan's fortress. Divine Rune Crystals, 350. The Envoy of Death said that there are at least 480 divine rune crystals in the fortress, but it looks like we won't be able to get our hands on the rest. They've probably been taken away by Emperor Realm beasts and stored away. Long Yu put away the 350 divine rune crystals and controlled the Azura ancient palace to smash into the center of the Earth God tribe's fortress. At the same time, as if the Death Envoy had sensed Long Yu's intentions, he also controlled the Death Ancient Palace, and it slowly descended from the sky. 2 top-tier ancient rank combat weapons pincer attacked from 2 different directions, completely shattering the core of the Earth God tribe's fortress. Collect. Long Yu knocked away the 2 Emperor Realm beasts guarding the fortress with ease. Then, he took out the Earth Elemental Divine Source Stone from the core of the Earth God tribe's fortress. Done. After Long Yu succeeded, he immediately controlled the Azura Ancient Palace to rise into the sky and move with the Death Ancient Palace. It was a spectacular scene. However, the 2 ancient palaces were in an invisible state. Other than Long Yu and the many beasts in the surroundings, no one else could see them. This included the Long Mansion's palace master and the others in the distance. They had no idea what was happening in the beast lair. We almost couldn't hold on any longer. Let's retreat quickly. The Envoy of Death's cackle entered Long Yu's ears. Then, Long Yu felt a tyrannical spatial divine rune energy surround the entire Azura Ancient Palace. The spatial energy was coming from the Death Ancient Palace. After plundering the place, the most important thing was to leave safely. With the Envoy of Death's ability, a mere Emperor Realm beast was not enough to stop him from retreating. Enveloped by the spatial divine runes, the Azura Ancient Palace and the Death Ancient Palace were instantly teleported away. In the blink of an eye, they were hundreds of miles away. The Emperor Realm beast roared angrily. It tried to stop the Envoy of Death's teleportation, but it failed in the end. When the Envoy of Death unleashed his power, his strength was beyond the Emperor Realm. It was just that it consumed a lot of his energy. After Long Yu and the Envoy of Death retreated, the Emperor Realm beast was naturally enraged. In this battle, not only was the Earth God tribe's fortress completely destroyed, but the Divine Source Stone and Divine Rune Crystals were also plundered. Almost 10,000 of their clansmen had died. The Earth God tribe had suffered a great loss. How could the Emperor Realm beast endure such a loss? It just so happened that not far away, there was a group of human and beast cultivators gathered. They seemed to want to be the fishermen who reaped the benefits, waiting to watch a good show. Since the culprit had run away, it might as well vent its anger on these fellows. The Emperor Realm beast was enraged. It soared into the sky and endless earth elemental divine runes covered the sky, forming a giant mountain that appeared high up in the clouds. As soon as this giant mountain appeared, it smashed down towards the palace master of Long Mansion and the others. The group of people, including the palace master of Long Mansion and the others, quickly realized the danger they were in. Each of them used their own methods to escape. The palace master of Long Mansion even summoned the Cosmos Scroll. However, as soon as the scroll's spatial divine runes appeared, it was forcefully suppressed by the Emperor Realm beast and shattered into pieces. The Cosmos Scroll shattered. The giant mountain formed by the Emperor Realm beast smashed down. Thousands of human and beast cultivators were directly smashed into ashes, not leaving behind a single trace. This was the fate of those who entered the depths of the domain of rubble without sufficient strength. Emperor Realm beasts usually did not attack because their most important task was to secretly investigate where the Jiyo Dragon Emperor had hidden the sacred relic of their race. However, when someone provoked them, they would not show any mercy. Those who wanted to take advantage of the situation were all dead. The people of Long Manor and Luoyue Manor, who wanted to witness Long Yu's death, were all dead. They never thought that even a powerful weapon like the universe painting could not escape from the hands of an Emperor Realm beast. Thousands of people, all dead, not even their corpses were left behind. In the eyes of outsiders, these people could only be considered to have disappeared mysteriously. Many people knew that they had entered the depths of the domain of rubble, but no one knew how they died. Death was certain. The depths of the domain of rubble was the territory of the beasts, and Emperor Realm beasts were not uncommon. How could the humans and beast cultivators who had entered come out alive? Following the death of the two Emperor Realm cultivators, the head of the Dragon House and the steward of the Falling Moon House, the overall structure of the North Snow Empire would change once more. However, this had nothing to do with Long Yu, even though he was the one who had orchestrated all of this. At this moment, Long Yu had completely left the boundaries of the domain of rubble and arrived outside of it. Haha, what a great harvest! Long Yu began to take inventory of all the spoils he had obtained from this operation. While he had been collecting divine rune crystals, he had also collected quite a few exotic beast corpses into the Azura Ancient Palace and obtained some exotic beast crystals. There were more than 9,000 beast crystals in total. Because these beast crystals were of high quality, they were worth more than ordinary beast crystals. If he sold them, he would be able to get at least 200,000 shinbi. This was equivalent to all of Long Yu's assets. One had to know that this was the result of relying on the Envoy of Death to erupt with the strength of an Emperor Realm expert. Moreover, he had fought for a long time to obtain this result. It was only natural that he would be able to obtain so many shinbi. Apart from the beast crystals, Long Yu had also obtained a total of 7 special crystals. Including the first one he had obtained, he now had 8. There were quite a few special beasts in the Earth Divine Race's fortress. Without a doubt, these special beasts were geniuses among beasts. The crystals inside their bodies were different from ordinary beasts. There were a total of 8 special crystals, 2 Emperor Realm, 3 King Realm, and 3 Divine Realm. Their total value was at least 1,000,000 shinbi. The amount of pure spirit energy contained within the special crystals of the Secret Realm was equivalent to 10 times that of an upper-grade Great Desolate rank pill, let alone the special crystals of the King Realm and Emperor Realm. Of course, these special crystals would all be used by Long Yu to break through to the next realm. No matter how much money others offered, he wouldn't sell them. Among them, the King Realm special crystals contained 100 times the pure spirit energy of a desolate rank upper rank pill, and the Emperor Realm special crystals contained 1,000 times the pure spirit energy of a desolate rank upper rank pill. With Long Yu's current cultivation, any one of them would be enough for him to form his 5th innate mystique. Other than the strange beast crystals, the biggest harvest was the 350 divine runic crystals. These divine runic crystals were all first-rate divine runic crystals and were extremely valuable. In the Beyond Heaven world, they were rare treasures that could only be refined by existences that had surpassed the Emperor Realm. Long Yu had no doubt that the most valuable thing he obtained from this trip was the Earth Elemental Divine Rune Source Stone. Unfortunately, it was the only thing the Envoy of Death needed, so Long Yu couldn't keep it. Long Yu knew very little about the Divine Rune Source Stone. In fact, no one in the entire Shen Wu world knew what it was used for. It should contain an extremely rich power. The Envoy of Death should be able to use this power in some way to prolong his existence in this world and explode at a crucial moment, Long Yu guessed. Simply put, the Divine Rune Source Stone was a method for the Envoy of Death to recover his strength. It was a pleasure working with you. Let's continue next time, Long Yu said with a light laugh. If you want a next time, wait another half a year. This envoy suffered heavy losses from this explosion. If I want to completely absorb the power of the Earth Elemental Divine Rune Source Stone, I'll have to wait at least half a year. Chapter 752. Of course, Long Yu knew what the Death Messenger was talking about. For the time being, He and the Death Messenger were in a cooperative state. They could deal with the fortress built by the strange beasts together and take what they needed. Without the Death Messenger, Long Yu wouldn't be able to do this alone. Without Long Yu, the Death Messenger wouldn't be able to fight against the Emperor Realm's strange beasts and steal the divine rune source stones. But this cooperation had a time limit. It was impossible for the Death Envoy to always stay by Long Yu's side. Long Yu knew that the reason the Death Envoy followed him was because he had a goal that only he could achieve. But it absolutely wasn't because he wanted to obtain those divine runic source stones. As for what the Death Messenger's real purpose was, Long Yu couldn't guess. But thinking about it, it should be related to the Geo Dragon Emperor. Once the condition was met, the Death Messenger might leave. At that time, Long Yu wouldn't have anyone to rely on. I will cultivate as soon as possible and try to help you as soon as possible. Long Yu smiled and said no more. Instead, he began to formulate his own cultivation plan. Although he had obtained 8 special crystals and could casually absorb the pure spiritual energy from one of them to step into the 5th level, he didn't want to break through just like that. Because he cultivated the great desolate grade martial skill, Dubhe Chi Attraction. As long as he could cultivate the Dubhe Chi drawing technique to the large success realm, even the effects of medicinal pills would be improved. In any case, Long Yu was not in a hurry to improve his martial arts realm. Why not wait until he cultivated the Dubhe Chi drawing technique to the large success realm before breaking through? When the Dubhe Chi drawing technique reached the large success stage, Long Yu would be able to consume a special crystal of the Divine Ability Secret Realm and raise his cultivation to the 5th Divine Ability Realm. Let's go. Long Yu collected his thoughts and hid in the invisible Azura Ancient Palace again, heading west. Very quickly, he arrived outside the small city that he had been to before. The Death Envoy didn't teleport Long Yu too far. He only teleported him to the outside of the rubble domain. In any case, once he was outside, there wouldn't be any danger. The Death Envoy wouldn't waste his energy for no reason. Isn't that Eldarin? Long Yu directly flew over the small city and arrived at a dense forest on the outskirts. Suddenly, he felt a flash of lightning energy below him, giving him a familiar feeling. He looked down into the dense forest and saw a familiar figure fighting with a group of people in the wilderness. It was Eldarin, whom he had met before. Long Yu had a good impression of Eldarin. When he saw this scene, he was moved and prepared to go down to help. Among the crowd that was besieging Eldarin, there was an early-stage king-stage middle-aged man who was watching with interest. It seemed that because Eldarin was only an old man at the 7 Daos Divine Realm, he wasn't interested in fighting him. There were also 7 martial cultivators at the Divine Secret Realm surrounding Eldarin and attacking him fiercely. Among them, 2 figures made Long Yu frown. They were the 2 middle-aged men from Eldarin's team. He colluded with outsiders to deal with Eldarin? These 2 fellows are really interesting. Long Yu narrowed his eyes. He despised the 2 middle-aged men, but he didn't attack immediately. Instead, he temporarily used the divine concealment technique and hid to the side. If Eldarin was in danger, Long Yu could intervene at any time. Otherwise, it was better to let Eldarin fight on his own. After all, it was the easiest for one to break through in a life-and-death battle. Old man, hand over the 5 great desolate grade medicinal pills you bought and I can consider sparing your life. Otherwise, you'll definitely die today. The early-stage king-stage middle-aged man stared at Eldarin with greed on his face. Haha, even if this old man dies here, I won't let you take advantage of me. Eldarin laughed crazily. You 2 brats, I didn't expect that you would betray me and collude with outsiders after I gave you 5,000 shinbi. What fools. Do you really think that you can join their organization by killing me? Men die for wealth and birds die for food. Eldarin, it's not that we want to betray you, but we want to become stronger. This is the only way. The burly middle-aged man's face was filled with malevolence as he continuously unleashed fire-type divine abilities towards Elder, and boundless flames ignited the entire forest. The divine fire characters in Elder Anne's hand flickered and formed a lightning barrier that blocked the attacks from the others. However, it seemed like it wouldn't last for long. Let's see what benefits you can get by killing me. Absorb them. In the face of certain death, Elder Anne took out 5 upper desolate grade elixirs and swallowed them all in one gulp. Clearly, he would not leave these treasures to these people even if he were to die. Bastard! The early stage king stage middle-aged man was furious. Old man, I already said that I'll spare your life if you hand over the pills. I didn't expect you to be so stubborn. Since that's the case, I'll send you to hell with my own hands. After Elder Anne swallowed the 5 high-grade desolate grade pills that were worth 1,000 shinbi, the middle-aged man didn't have to endure it anymore. He immediately erupted with the strength of an early-stage king stage expert. He attached the power of his heart realm to his ice ability and formed ice spikes that swept towards Elder and had no chance of surviving an early-stage king stage expert's attack. However, just when Long Yu was about to make a move, he suddenly felt a powerful burst of lightning. Elder Anne actually broke through under such circumstances. Elder Anne was originally a 7 divine path expert. Now that he broke through, he directly opened up an inner world in his body, and his aura was completely different. Monarch Path Secret Realm. Those who didn't enter the Monarch Path were ant. Once a cultivator stepped into the Monarch Path Secret Realm, it was equivalent to stepping into a completely different world. Amidst the rumbling of lightning, the early-stage king stage middle-aged man's ice spikes were all blocked in midair, and he couldn't take another step forward. On the other hand, Elder Anne's lightning suddenly erupted and blasted away the cultivators in the Divine Path Secret Realm in the surroundings. Oh, you actually broke through. The early-stage king stage middle-aged man narrowed his eyes. Unfortunately, so what if you broke through? You've just broken through. It's already not bad if you can utilize 10% of your heart realm's power. Compared to my 50%, you're really too weak. Die, old man. The ice divine characters exploded once again. This time, they condensed into an ice vortex that swept towards Elder Anne from all directions. It's over. Elder Anne was dazed. He didn't expect that he would break through to the Monarch Path Secret Realm at the last moment. However, what was the point of breaking through now? Just as his opponent had said, although he had opened up an inner world in his body, he couldn't utilize 10% of his heart realm's power. There was a huge gap between him and his opponent in terms of power. Needless to say, he'd almost exhausted all his power in the battle just now, and he'd even suffered many injuries. Even if he stepped into the Monarch Path, there was nothing he could do. However, just when he was about to self-destruct in despair, a familiar combat weapon suddenly appeared in his field of vision. It instantly tore through the void and condensed into a pitch-black ray of light, and it sliced open the early-stage king stage middle-aged man's neck. Assassination, a one-hit kill. Die. At this moment, Long Yu made his move. With a spatial penetration, he actually killed the king stage middle-aged man who controlled the ice divine text in an instant. Because that guy was concentrating on fighting Elder Anne, he didn't expect that someone was hiding in the side, ready to assassinate him at any time. Just one move. Long Yu killed the early-stage king stage middle-aged man. In Long Yu's eyes, that guy's strength was even weaker than an early-stage king stage earth god tribe beast. After the early-stage king stage expert died, the ice vortex that covered the sky directly dissipated. This scene directly stunned the 8 people in the field. Elder Anne was just about to self-destruct, but he didn't expect to see Long Yu at the last moment. Moreover, Long Yu only used one move to defeat his opponent. That was an early-stage king stage expert. It seemed that Long Yu really possessed extremely terrifying strength, as the rumors said. However, Didn't Long Yu go to the depths of the domain of rubble? Why did he appear here? As for the other 7 martial cultivators at the Theurgy's secret realm who besieged Eldarin, they all looked as if they had seen a ghost. You, why are you here? Among them, the sturdy middle-aged man was the most terrified. He subconsciously wanted to turn around and run away. He recognized who Long Yu was. Wasn't he the guy who followed them into the domain of rubble with 4 Theurgy secret realms? Obviously, Eldarin didn't tell him about Long Yu's real identity. However, the sturdy middle-aged man was naturally afraid when he saw that Long Yu killed the early-stage king stage expert with one move. Want to run? Long Yu squinted his eyes slightly and raised his hand. At this moment, the shadows in the entire dense forest moved at this moment. They turned into pitch-black sharp blades and instantly pierced towards the 7 martial cultivators at the Theurgy's secret realm. Since Long Yu had appeared, he naturally wouldn't leave anyone alive. After comprehending the ancient primordial shadow kill, Long Yu could control the shadows and even transform into them. In a place like the dense forest, it was completely Long Yu's territory. With just one move, all 7 of them were killed. Boom! With a wave of his hand, Long Yu used the law of sunfire to incinerate the 7 corpses. As for the bodies of the early-stage king stage experts, they weren't easy to deal with. Long Yu was too lazy to think too much about it. With a wave of his hand, he kept the corpses into the ancient Azura Palace and fed them to the strange beast. In Long Yu's ancient Azura Palace, there were tens of thousands of strange beasts from the Ice God clan sealed. These strange beasts must be very hungry. Eldarin. Long Yu turned his head and smiled at Olden, who was dumbfounded by the sight. Only after Long Yu killed everyone present did Eldarin regain his senses. Still in disbelief, he asked, "Little brother Long, why are you here? You don't need to know that. I still have something I need you to do." Chapter 753. Eldarin had broken through to the King Realm. If he joined the Heavenly Mandate Manor, he would definitely enhance the overall strength of the manor. Moreover, Long Yu was very confident in Eldarin's character, and Eldarin was suddenly saved by Long Yu. Not only did he survive, but he could also continue to live as an expert of the secret realm of the King Path. The request of Long Yu was just a small matter for him. How could he refuse? "Villa Master Long, don't worry. This old man will definitely accomplish everything you asked for." Eldarin almost immediately changed his attitude, and a touch of expectation flashed in his eyes. The imperial capital, the Heavenly Mandate Manor that had upper desolate level martial arts techniques. In the past, he never thought that he would have such an opportunity to join. But now, Long Yu had given him this opportunity. In other words, his path of martial arts would not stop here. He would continue to move forward. One could imagine how excited he was. Soon, Long Yu and Eldarin parted ways. Eldarin knew that Long Yu's main purpose for this trip was to gain experience, so he did not waste any time. After getting Long Yu's introduction jade slip, he set off for the Heavenly Mandate Manor alone. As for Long Yu, he directly left this place and continued to move toward the west. If there were no accidents, he would only need 3 or 4 days to leave the territory of the North Snow Empire. And in these 3 or 4 days, the entire North Snow Empire was shocked. Previously, Yuhanshin personally ordered the Silver Fox Manor, the Tianqing House, and the Qiushui Manor to be closed down. It was already an earthquake in the entire North Snow Empire. But the situation at that time was not bad. After all, no one died. Some experts of the 3 forces were incorporated into the team directly under Yuhanshin. But now, both the Dragon House and the Luoyue House went to the region of rubble to hunt down Long Yu. As a result, both sides suffered heavy casualties. Among them, the chief of the Dragon House, the genius Dragon General, and the others were all killed. The steward of the Luoyue House and a group of experts also died without a complete corpse. It was said that on that day, they had intruded into the territory of an Emperor Realm beast, which had enraged the beast and led to their deaths. One had to know that the domain of rubble and the wellspring of strange beasts were deep in the territory of strange beasts. Even a true Emperor Realm expert wouldn't dare to enter so easily. Wouldn't the experts of the Dragon Manor and Falling Moon Manor be courting death by entering? When the powerhouses of the two forces were all dead, the decline of the two forces could be foreseen. The Falling Moon Manor was in a better state. They had lost an Emperor Realm steward, but they still had an Emperor Realm palace lord. They were able to keep up appearances, and they were still a major force in the North Snow dynasty. But the Dragon Mansion couldn't. Not only had the head of the Long Manor died, even his two sons had perished in the domain of rubble. It could be said that the entire faction had lost its backbone. Even though they had an Emperor Realm steward, he couldn't take up the mantle of leadership. The North Snow Empire was about to become an empire. In this time of great changes, Yuhanshin hoped to see some changes in the structure. And the impact of the waves caused by Long Yu was far from over. The Dragon Manor would definitely continue to decline. As for the Heavenly Mandate Manor and the Shura Manor, after recruiting a group of martial arts practitioners, their strength increased greatly. In addition, the two forces shared 4 great desolate-level martial arts techniques. One could imagine how prosperous they would be in the future. Of course, it wasn't that easy to truly become a major force in the North Snow dynasty. At least one cultivator of the Emperor Realm had to be born, and it would take more than 2 years to break through from the late stage of the King Realm to the Emperor Realm. Yuhanshin felt that in 10 years, the two forces would become the mainstays of the Northern Snow Empire. As for the near future, they were still far from that. The Emperor Realm, I can feel that it's not far from that day. Yuhanshin walked out of the palace and looked up at the sky. There was a meaningful smile on her pure face. At that time, the palace should be called the Imperial Palace. Mother, I won't let you down. Then, she looked towards the west, towards the domain of rubble. Yun Jinglei was scared away just like that? How boring. The corner of Yuhanshin's lips curled up. So Emperor Yunduan's every move was under her control. The reason why she didn't make a move was because she had faith in Long Yu. If Long Yu died so easily, why would the Scarlet Emperor take a liking to him? However, Yuhanshin didn't expect that when the Emperor Realm beast in the domain of rubble unleashed its power and killed everyone from the Dragon Manor and the Luoyue Manor, Yun Jinglei, who had been following them, also ran away. It was obvious that Yun Jinglei was afraid that if he continued to follow Long Yu, he would be in danger. At least, he didn't know anything about Long Yu. He knew where Long Yu went, but he didn't dare to follow him. Long Yu was a terrifying existence that could escape from an Emperor Realm beast, and even blast the beast's lair in half. Even if he didn't have the strength to do so, it was because he had someone backing him up. How could Yun Jinglei dare to provoke him? 4 days later, Long Yu rode the Azura Ancient Palace and left the North Snow Kingdom. Because he was invisible, he didn't run into any danger. After leaving the domain of rubble, other than showing himself when he met Eldarin, Long Yu had been cultivating the Dubhi-Chi channeling in peace. Minor completion. Long Yu nodded in satisfaction. After cultivating the Dubhi-Chi drawing technique to the small success realm, his normal cultivation speed increased by 40%. The effects were pretty good, but for Long Yu it was far from enough. He had to cultivate it to the large success realm to be able to increase the effects of medicinal pills. Long Yu had 8 special beast crystals on him. If each crystal increased the effect by 20%, then the increase was not a joke. But now, Long Yu's cultivation of the Dubhi-Chi channeling had to come to an end. He had finally left the North Snow Kingdom's territory and arrived at a neighboring country in the west, the Shunluo Empire. Long Yu had some impression of the Shunluo Empire, mainly from the Shunluo Emperor who was with Prince Cloud. Although they weren't good people, Long Yu had to admit that the forces behind them were very strong. First, I'll find a trade center and stroll around. I'll sell all the beast crystals I have and pick some desolate rank medicinal pills. Since I don't lack money now, I can prepare to use the same medicinal pills for the third time. Long Yu thought to himself as he hid the Azura ancient palace in the clouds. Then, he put on a white robe and a mask and flew towards a large city. Because of the Azura ancient palace's invisibility, he easily passed through the border of the Shunluo Empire without being discovered by the border guards. He had arrived at the largest border city in the eastern part of the Shunluo Empire, the city of Desolate God. In the entire Shunluo Empire, there were only 5 cities of this size. Including the imperial capital, there was one in the east, south, west, and north. This city of Desolate God was the largest city in the entire eastern part of the Shunluo Empire. Just the eastern part of the Shunluo Empire was larger than the entire North Snow Kingdom. One could imagine that the size of this city of Desolate God was not inferior to the North Snow Kingdom. Long Yu was looking forward to finding some medicinal pills that he hadn't used before. In addition, he could also replenish some medicinal pills that could be used in battle. It would be great if I could reach the middle stage of the King Realm earlier. Then, I wouldn't need to wait to use any technique. Unfortunately, I can only use medicinal pills at this stage. Long Yu planned to buy 100 medicinal pills that could restore meridians. This would allow him to continuously use the same martial skills and abilities. This would be very helpful in improving his combat strength. However, the first thing he needed to do was, of course, to sell all the exotic beast crystals. More than 9,000 exotic beast crystals was not a small number. Any trading center in the city of Desolate God might not be able to buy it. Therefore, Long Yu did not want to sell them all at once. Anyway, he was not short of money. Long Yu paid a small fee to enter the city of Desolate God. He walked on the prosperous streets. It seemed like he was strolling, but in fact, he was inquiring about everything in the city. Any information could make it more convenient for Long Yu to do things in the city. For example, he soon found out that the city lord of the city of Desolate God had an unruly and domineering daughter and a handsome son who was extremely talented in martial arts. These two people were absolutely not to be provoked in the city of Desolate God. Another example was that the general's mansion in the west of the city was holding the annual Desolate God martial arts competition, which attracted the attention of most martial practitioners in the city. As long as one participated in the Desolate God martial arts competition of the general's mansion and obtained a ranking, they would be able to obtain many rewards. They would even be qualified to join the general's mansion. Joining the general's mansion meant that endless cultivation resources were waving at one's hand. It was easy to imagine how attractive it was to martial practitioners in the Jianghu. None of this had anything to do with Long Yu. He just wanted to listen and did not want to participate. What he was most concerned about was information related to the trading house. Soon, he found out that there were a total of 3 largest trading houses in the city of Desolate God. These 3 trading houses belonged to the general's mansion, the city lord's mansion, and another large trading house. Long Yu entered the city from the east. He first went to the nearest trading house under the jurisdiction of the general's mansion to see if there were any good goods there. After entering, Long Yu did not care about the crowd around him. Instead, he found a servant in the trading house and asked, "Where are the great desolate level pills?" The servant turned his head to look and instantly smiled. "Brother, you only have a cultivation of 4 divine realms. Why are you looking at great desolate level pills? For you, earth level pills and heaven level pills are the most suitable. Come with me, I will introduce you to some heaven level pills that are suitable for you," the servant said with disdain in his eyes. He worked in the trading house for many years and had seen many people. Although he was only in the heaven realm, his ability to recognize people was definitely top-notch. For example, this young man in front of him was only in the 4 divine realms. Bringing him to look at great desolate level pills was purely an idiot. Could he afford it? Impossible. Even in the Shenluo Empire, ordinary martial cultivators mainly used Shenluo coins instead of Shen coins. One Shen coin was equivalent to more than 3,000 Shenluo coins. Even the most inferior great desolate level pills would cost at least 100 Shenluo coins, which was equivalent to 300,000 Shenluo coins. For ordinary martial cultivators, this was definitely a huge sum that they could not afford. Unless they stepped into the Emperor Path secret realm, they really did not need great desolate level pills. However, this servant had clearly underestimated Long Yu. This Shen coin is for you. Now, can you bring me to look at great desolate level pills? Long Yu could not be bothered. He directly took out a Shen coin and handed it to the servant. This caused the servant's eyes to widen as he kept the Shen coin like he was robbing someone. Hee, big brother, come with me. I will bring you to look at great desolate level pills. The servant smiled happily. How could a young master who could take out a Shen coin so casually be a pauper among martial cultivators? It was normal for him to want to buy great desolate level martial techniques. Chapter 754. One had to admit that the City of Desolate Gods trading house was worthy of its reputation. The variety of elixirs here far exceeded that of the North Snow Empire. Obviously, because the City of Desolate God was a large city belonging to the Shenluo Empire, the number of powerful alchemists in the entire Shenluo Empire was obviously much more than that of the North Snow Empire. As a result, there were more types of pills available. Just the Great Desolate Grade elixirs alone numbered 40 to 50, of which more than 30 were cultivation elixirs. Long Yu had only consumed less than half of them. I've struck it rich. Long Yu was overjoyed, but he maintained his composure on the surface. He carefully observed the elixirs, from the Great Desolate Grade to the Great Desolate Grade, not missing a single one. Give me 3 of each of these elixirs. As for these, give me 1 of each. Long Yu counted the Great Desolate Grade elixirs to the manservant. Unfortunately, the manservant had no right to touch elixirs of this grade, so he could only let the steward of the trading house do it. The steward was an early-stage King Realm old man. His eyes flashed with shrewdness, looking at Long Yu as if he was a fat sheep waiting to be slaughtered. Young master, the total value of these elixirs you've selected is 165,000 Shinbi. The steward squinted his eyes as he said to Long Yu. Great Desolate Grade elixirs only cost 1,000 Shinbi. I've only taken 75 Great Desolate Grade elixirs, which adds up to 100,000 Shinbi at most. Long Yu said indifferently, as for the Great Desolate Grade elixirs, they're only 1/10 of the high-grade elixirs. The middle and low-grade elixirs added together don't even amount to 20,000 Shinbi. And you're telling me that the total value of these elixirs is 160,000 Shinbi? Long Yu found this ridiculous. Under normal circumstances, shouldn't it be cheaper to buy elixirs in bulk? But it became even more expensive here. Even if he added up the value of each elixir, Long Yu could only calculate a little over 110,000 Shinbi. But this steward actually asked him for more than 160,000 Shinbi. This was a complete scam. Young master. The manager chuckled, not showing the slightest bit of embarrassment from being exposed. Instead, he said confidently, I saw that you came in wearing a mask, so I knew that you didn't want to reveal your identity. Since you want to buy so many pills, you must be from some force, right? If you came in openly, I could give you a normal price. But since you're wearing a mask, I can only treat you as a martial cultivator of the pugilistic world. These pills are sold to martial cultivators of the pugilistic world at this price. Who would have thought that the same thing would be sold at 2 different prices to the factions and martial arts cultivators of the martial world? No wonder it was so hard for martial arts practitioners to rise up. It seemed that without a powerful force behind them, they would be bullied wherever they went. "Look, what are these?" Long Yu smiled calmly, not intending to argue with him at all. Instead, he took out some Earth God exotic beast crystals and displayed them in front of the steward for a moment. Exotic beast crystal? So many? Even though it was only for a moment, it was enough for the steward to see what Long Yu was holding in his hand. Exotic beast crystals. High-quality exotic beast crystals, even Emperor Realm ones, were worth thousands of shinbi each. And the number of exotic beast crystals Long Yu had displayed just now was more than 100. If he could buy all of these things, it would be a great merit. I can tell you that I have a lot of these exotic beast crystals, but whether or not I'm willing to sell them depends on my mood, Long Yu said with narrowed eyes. He knew very well that a large number of exotic beast crystals was a great resource for any trading house. The amount he had displayed was enough to tempt the steward, not to mention that he had even more. Hee brother, let's talk this through. The steward chuckled. If you can take out enough exotic beast crystals to sell to our trading house, the pills you need can indeed be sold at a lower price. As for how much, it will depend on how many exotic beast crystals you have. I have 2,000 exotic beast crystals, 10 Emperor Realm, 100 King Realm, and the rest are Transcendent Realm. Long Yu said straightforwardly, name your price. In addition to the price of exotic beast crystals, he also wanted the steward to tell him how much the pills could be sold at. If the steward wasn't satisfied, he would just leave. Long Yu believed that the three major trading houses of Desolate God City were in a similar situation. As for which one he would choose to trade with, it would depend on who was more willing to pay. The purpose of trading in the trading house was to make money, and Long Yu's trades were all big ones. No matter what, the trading house would be able to make a fortune. Long Yu chose the trading house because he didn't want to lose too much. Although he was quite rich now, he wanted to buy more resources with his limited money. The steward's expression turned serious when he heard Long Yu say 2,000. Exotic beast crystals had always been one of the most profitable items in the trading house. This was because those who sold exotic beast crystals were martial cultivators, and the trading house was absolutely ruthless to martial cultivators. But if they sold them to high officials and nobles, the price would be quite high. The profit margin for such goods was frighteningly high. I can give you 3,000 shinbi for Emperor Realm exotic beast crystals. King Realm ones are 700 shinbi. Ordinary ones are at least 20 shinbi, and those of better quality are naturally more expensive. The steward lowered his voice. Brother, you should know that the price I'm offering is already higher than anyone else can offer. Normally, we only offer 2,000 for Emperor Realm beast crystals and 500 for King Realm ones. If it weren't for the fact that you have a lot of them, I wouldn't have offered this price at all. As for the pills you want, I can make them and sell them to you at the original price, 110,000 shinbi. If you're willing to trade, I'll have to pay you another 30,000 shinbi. Hearing this, Long Yu slowly nodded his head. This price was acceptable. He hadn't expected exotic beast crystals to be so tempting to the trading house. It seemed that Long Yu's current stock of over 9,000 exotic beast crystals could be sold for at least 400,000 to 500,000 shinbi. This was far more than he'd expected. It looks like the profits from exotic beast crystals are frighteningly high. Long Yu also knew that this was the reason. Therefore, the trading house didn't mind raising the price when a large-scale supply of exotic beast crystals appeared. They couldn't allow other trading houses to take their stock anyway. When Long Yu nodded, it signified that the two parties had reached an agreement. Long Yu handed over the 2,000 strange beast crystals and obtained the cultivation pills he needed. He also received 30,000 shinbi. This was the result of the valuation of the 2,000 strange beast crystals that the manager had asked someone to appraise. It was a win-win situation for both Long Yu and the exchange hall. Long Yu had to pay the price of the 2,000 strange beast crystals. The ones who suffered the most were the nobles and nobles who were about to purchase the exotic beast crystals. Of course, these people were rich and didn't mind a small loss like this. Long Yu was about to leave after the transaction was completed, but the steward called him back and said mysteriously, "Brother, we've actually just shipped a batch of good stuff. Perhaps you'd like to take a look?" "What is it?" Long Yu's brows furrowed slightly. Since the transaction was completed, he didn't want to complicate matters. However, if the other party's offer was good, he would still be interested. That was why he asked. 3 supreme desolate grade pills. The steward said straightforwardly. To be honest, these 3 supreme grade pills were shipped from the alliance of 5 emperors. Each of them is priceless. After taking them, not only can one's cultivation increase, but it can also enhance the compatibility between one's martial cultivation and the divine rune. Supreme grade pills. This was the first time Long Yu heard of this. Items of this level must be extremely precious. Only alchemists from the alliance of 5 emperors could refine them. Supreme desolate grade pills contained more than 10 times the spiritual energy of high-grade pills. Moreover, they could enhance the compatibility between one's martial cultivation and the divine rune. Such a good item was definitely not cheap. "How much?" Long Yu asked. "We're planning to auction them. The ideal price for each pill is 150,000 shinbi. If you can take out 150,000 shinbi, I'll sell one to you directly." The steward said. "All right, I'll take 3. Long Yu squinted his eyes and said, 3 this? The steward almost vomited blood when he heard that. 3 at once? That was 450,000 shinbi. Even their trading house couldn't take out so much money in a short time. Moreover, why would this kid want 3 identical pills? This, to tell you the truth, of these 3 pills, one of them has already been reserved, and the other one must appear in the auction, so it's not convenient to sell it to you. If you want it, you can only have one at most," the steward said awkwardly. Having just struck a big deal, it meant that his status in the trading house would rise further. Hence, his attitude towards Long Yu was much better. At least, he didn't keep thinking of slandering him. "How about this, bring me to have a look first?" Long Yu thought for a moment and said to the steward. "Follow me." The steward began to lead the way. Soon, the two arrived at the entrance of a secluded secret chamber. The steward fiddled with the stone plate at the entrance for a while before opening the door. However, after opening the door and stepping inside, the steward and Long Yu were both shocked. Because there was already someone in the secret chamber, and he was looking at the 3 supreme desolate level pills. "Number 5, why are you here?" The steward who received Long Yu's guests had a gloomy expression. There was another steward in the secret chamber. He was also an old man at the early stage of the king realm. He should be number 5. He was looking at the 3 supreme desolate level pills with 2 beautiful girls. Number 5 turned his head and was also shocked. Then, he burst into laughter. "Number 3? Haha, you also brought someone to look at supreme pills? I'm sorry, I beat you to it. Who are these 2? I believe you don't need me to introduce them to you, right? If you know what's good for you, hurry up and leave. Don't disturb the city lord's daughter." The city lord's daughter. Chapter 755. When he entered the secret room, Long Yu saw 3 supreme desolate level elixirs placed on a jade plate. Each of them exuded a very attractive spiritual energy, and even contained some power of godly glyph. It seemed that after consuming it, it could really increase the degree of compatibility with the godly glyph. However, when Long Yu heard that the mayor's daughter was here, he immediately didn't want the elixirs anymore. There was no other reason. He originally wanted to buy supreme-grade elixirs to quickly increase his strength. However, since there was trouble now, there was no need to buy them here. These 3 elixirs were transported from the alliance of 5 emperors. It was thousands of miles away and the price was unimaginably expensive. Long Yu was going to the central city of the Alliance of Five Emperors anyway. By then, there would definitely be more choices. Why waste time and money here? This, number 3, who brought Long Yu here, hesitated. In front of the mayor's daughter, he didn't dare to say much. He could only say to Long Yu, "Brother, I'm sorry. The mayor's daughter is here. I can't make the decision for these 3 elixirs." "It's okay. If that's the case, then forget it. Let's go." Long Yu glanced at the 2 girls in the secret room and didn't say much. He turned around and wanted to leave. When he reached the central city of the Alliance of Five Emperors, not to mention supreme desolate level elixirs, there might even be supreme grade elixirs. Long Yu didn't feel bad about giving up this time. He wasn't in a hurry anyway. He was the first to turn around and leave the secret room. Number 3 followed closely behind him. However, just as the 2 of them were about to leave the secret chamber, an arrogant young lady's voice rang out from behind them. "Hee, the 2 of you have disturbed my interest in choosing elixirs. Could it be that you want to leave just like that? Stop right there." The girl who spoke looked to be 17 or 18 years old. Her appearance was not bad, but the arrogance in her eyes couldn't be concealed. This girl in a pink dress was the daughter of the city lord of the desolate god city, Situliuli. Although she was young, she was already at the middle stage of the king realm. With the cultivation resources of the imperial city lord, even a pig could cultivate to the king realm, let alone the daughter of the city lord. Situliuli had a haughty look in her eyes as she strolled towards the entrance of the secret chamber. She looked at Long Yu with disdain and said, "Brat, take off your mask. Let me see who it is that dares to offend this young lady. Does who I am have anything to do with you?" Long Yu stopped in his tracks and asked indifferently without turning his head back. A mere 4 divine tier brat dares to be so stubborn. Could he be someone from the general's residence? However, why must the people of the general's mansion hide their heads and show their tails in their own trading house? Situliuli looked up and down at Long Yu. When she realized that Long Yu didn't even turn his head around, she became even angrier and said, "You Xia, chop off one of his arms. I'll show him the consequences of offending me." Yu Xia was Situliuli's servant girl. Her name was Qian Yu Xia. Although she was also 17 or 18 years old, she was at the early stage of the king realm. In Situliuli's eyes, it would be a piece of cake for Yu Xia to deal with a 4 divine tier brat. Wasn't it just chopping off one of his arms? Yes, Mississippi. Yu Xia's delicate face was numb. It was obvious that she had done this many times and didn't feel that it was inappropriate. However, she didn't know that Long Yu was extremely angry. "Who did I offend? I saw you buying pills and I let you in. This trading house wasn't opened by the city lord. Just because he came in to take a look, he wants to chop off one of his arms." This Situliuli was arrogant to the extreme. Long Yu naturally wouldn't allow himself to be trampled upon. The reason why he gave up on the pill was because he couldn't be bothered to waste his time here. Since the other party insisted on approaching him, Long Yu didn't mind teaching them a lesson. Of course, before that, Long Yu asked manager number 3, "Manager, is this how the trading house treats its customers?" When he said that, Long Yu wanted the trading house to intervene. If manager number 3 tried to stop him, Long Yu wouldn't need to do anything. However, he had underestimated Situliuli's reputation in the city of Wild God. How could she be as simple as being unruly and domineering? This was the behavior of a bandit. "I'm sorry, brother. An arm is an arm. We can't afford to offend the city lord's daughter. Losing an arm is better than losing your life." Manager number 3 tried to persuade him in a low voice. "When the time comes, the trading house can provide you with a physical recovery pill. I guarantee that your arm will be completely healed." However, before he could finish speaking, Long Yu already didn't want to listen to him anymore. Compensation? This trading house was such a coward. They didn't even dare to offend the city lord's daughter. How could they treat their customers like this? Sadly, Why would Long Yu just stand there and let someone chop off his arm? Dream on. At that moment, the young girl, Qian Yuxia, was already holding on to a long sword. She gathered the power of the ice god symbols and formed an icy sword ray that slashed towards Long Yu's arm. You really want to chop off my arm? He's really out of control, Long Yu muttered, and then he raised his hand without batting an eyelid and drew out the nether void dragon blade. Space penetration. Just as the icy sword beam was about to land on Long Yu's arm, Long Yu's nether void dragon blade had already pierced through Qian Yuxia's sword-wielding arm, and the Hades god runes exploded forth, causing her arm to explode. You want to chop off my arm? As you wish. A murderous intent flashed across Long Yu's eyes. She wanted to chop off his arm so he would chop off one of her arms. This was called an eye for an eye. This combat weapon, I'll be taking it. High-grade great desolate level, not bad. With a wave of his hand, Long Yu kept the ice-long sword combat weapon. It was an extremely rare great desolate grade combat weapon in the North Snow Empire. However, there was actually such a long sword here, and even a mere maid had it. This caused Long Yu to feel quite surprised. However, when he thought of Situ Liuli's arrogant personality, it was normal for her to get a high-grade great desolate level combat weapon for her servant girl. Qian Yuxia's arm was chopped off by Long Yu, and it exploded. Fresh blood instantly splashed onto the ground. She had never experienced such pain before. With a scream, she fell heavily onto the ground. Ah! My lady, save me! Qian Yuxia's voice was filled with pain. To Long Yu, this was all her own doing, and she didn't deserve any pity. However, to Situ Liuli and the two supervisors, it was a completely different story. No matter who Long Yu was, he dared to chop off the arm of Situ Liuli's servant girl in the city of Desolate God. He must be courting death. Who didn't know that Situ Liuli loved her servant Qian Yuxia as if they were sisters? It was said that there was once a young master from the imperial city who wanted to do something bad to Qian Yuxia. When Situ Liuli found out about it, she immediately chopped off the young master's manhood. In the end, the young master's force came to the city of Desolate God to denounce her, but they were forced to retreat by the city lord, which allowed Situ Liuli to act even more unscrupulously. But now, someone had chopped off one of Qian Yuxia's arms, and even exploded it into pieces? Even if she could regrow her arm with some pills, that was a matter for the future. Now, how could Situ Liuli forgive the person who chopped off her servant girl's arm? I gave you face, but you don't want it. Since you don't want to live anymore, I'll fulfill your wish. Situ Liuli's expression immediately darkened. The flame divine characters and ice divine characters on her body were about to erupt. In her view of the world, anyone who dared to bully her in her territory had only one path: death. Brat, you're dead. In order to prevent the exchange house from being destroyed, I'll send you on your way. Manager number 3, who was standing beside Long Yu, immediately paled when he saw the situation. He took out 2 exquisite rings from his chest, and the power of the divine symbols of thunder and lightning erupted and enveloped Long Yu. He wanted to kill Long Yu. After Long Yu's brazen counterattack, the manager of the exchange house actually turned hostile and attacked Long Yu. Haha, I've finally witnessed the shamelessness of the city of Desolate God's nobility. Long Yu laughed heartily. He didn't seem to care about the situation at all. Facing the endless bombardment of the divine symbols of thunder and lightning, he didn't move at all. He forcefully stood in place and endured the terrifying bombardment. In the next moment, Long Yu's body was completely destroyed. He turned into a puff of black smoke and dissipated. It turned out that it was only an afterimage. When Long Yu decided to attack, he'd already thought of the entire plan. So, the current situation was completely within his expectations. Since you're heartless, then don't blame me for being unjust. Take it. Long Yu's figure suddenly appeared in the secret room, and he put the 3 supreme desolate grade pills into the Void Dragon Blade's storage space. At the same time, he pulled the Void Dragon Blade out from Manager Number 5's neck. An initial stage King Realm expert, Manager Number 5, actually didn't know how he died when he was ambushed by Long Yu. Put the pills down. The killing intent in Situ Liuli's eyes grew stronger. She wanted to rely on these supreme grade pills to advance to the advanced stage King Realm so that she could participate in the strongest King Realm in 2 years. Now that she saw those pills being taken away by Long Yu, it was easy to imagine how furious she was in her heart. The divine symbols of ice and fire that emerged from her hand actually fused perfectly and formed a terrifying whirlwind that swept towards Long Yu in the secret room. However, no matter how furious Sidaliuli was, it had nothing to do with Long Yu. Since you're looking for trouble, then I'll give you a good lesson. The corners of Long Yu's mouth curled up, and his eyes were filled with ridicule. A mere mid-stage King Realm young girl wants to keep me here? This was simply a dream. Shadow transformation. When a desolate grade martial skill was cultivated to the transformation stage, its effect would be extremely terrifying. For example, the primordial shadow slaughter allowed Long Yu to completely transform into a shadow. Once he transformed into a shadow in a building like the Exchange Hall, no one could find him at all. Long Yu's figure suddenly vanished. Chapter 756. Long Yu turned into a shadow and walked through the entire trading house. Since the 2 stewards of the trading house were against him, then there was no need for him to show any mercy to the trading house. After all, they did not know his identity. The 3 great desolate grade elixirs were already in Long Yu's pocket. This was definitely a huge blow to the trading house. From Long Yu's point of view, the other party only had themselves to blame. Now that the items were in his hands, the only thing left to do was to escape. Long Yu, who had turned into a shadow, only took a few breaths of time to reach the entrance of the trading house from the depths of the secret room. Then, he continued to move through the shadows of the buildings. The entire trading house was in chaos. No one thought that the culprit had already escaped through the shadows of the surrounding buildings. The daughter of the city lord, Situliuli, was still flipping out in the trading house. The trading house also sent out 2 Emperor Realm experts to search the trading house. They also sent an Emperor Realm expert to guard the entrance of the trading house. Unfortunately, he came too late. By this time, Long Yu had already escaped. There were very strong defensive and detection arrays in the entire trading house. Anyone who was invisible could not escape detection. However, when Long Yu turned into a shadow, it was not just simple invisibility. He had truly lost his physical body and turned into a shadow. Even if it was a powerful invisible detection array, it would not be able to detect Long Yu's whereabouts. Where did that brat go? Housekeeper number 3, who was in charge of receiving Long Yu, knew that he was in big trouble this time. Not only did the brat he brought cut off Situliuli's arm, which was a woman's arm, he also stole 3 great desolate grade elixirs and killed housekeeper number 5. Although the death of steward number 5 was good news for steward number 3, it was not good news that he was involved in this matter. If he could not catch Long Yu in the end, steward number 3 would definitely have to take full responsibility for this matter. In just the time it took for an incense stick to burn, they had searched the entire exchange hall but were unable to find any trace of Long Yu. Only now did they feel that the boy had most likely escaped long ago. However, they did not see anyone suspicious leaving the entrance, nor were there any fluctuations of spatial divine characters at all. How did that brat escape? Of course, Situ Liuli wouldn't allow the key to her breakthrough to be snatched away by others. She was prepared to use the 3 great desolate grade elixirs to break through to the late stage of the King Realm and strive to become famous in the strongest King Realm. Now, all 3 of them had been snatched away. With her personality, how could she be willing to accept this? Situ Liuli told her father about the incident the moment she left the exchange hall and ordered all the guards in the city of desolate gods to search for the culprit. Unfortunately, at this moment, Long Yu used the shadows of the city walls to escape the city before the city was sealed off. Then, he used the divine concealment technique to return to the invisible ancient Azura palace high up in the sky. By the time Situ Liuli and the others had searched the entire city, at least an hour had passed. By that time, Long Yu was already far away. 3 great desolate great elixirs, 75 great desolate great elixirs, and 30,000 shinbi, not bad. Long Yu sat in the central hall of the ancient Azura palace to rest. He was quite satisfied with his harvest this time. Just now, he had wanted to plunder more items before leaving and cause even greater losses to the trading house. Unfortunately, he was very clear that there wasn't much time left for him to escape. If he still coveted the other items in the trading house, he might not be able to leave today. He had taken advantage of the fact that the Emperor Realm expert had yet to react to his presence to transform into a shadow and escape. Long Yu's ability to transform into a shadow was practically useless in front of an Emperor Realm cultivator. Even if he only delayed Long Yu for a few breaths' time, the Emperor Realm cultivator at the entrance of the trading house would arrive first and Long Yu would become a lamb waiting to be slaughtered. Fortunately, Long Yu didn't have any greedy thoughts in his heart. Therefore, he was lucky enough to escape the scene a few breaths earlier. After leaving the city of desolate gods, Long Yu didn't relax. Instead, he urged the ancient Azura palace to fly forward at the fastest speed possible. In less than 6 hours, he approached a giant floating island. Just like the heavenly Mandate Island, there were many floating islands in the sky above the Shunluo Empire. Even if there were cultivators on these floating islands, they couldn't break through to the secret realm. With the seal of the 1,000 layers of heavenly spirits, even the power of the heavenly tribulation couldn't descend on these floating islands. Therefore, it was very difficult for the cultivators on these islands to survive the heavenly tribulation and form the innate secret realm. After arriving at this place, Long Yu thought for a moment and directly condensed a desolate shadow. He controlled the desolate shadow to use various methods to break into the floating island. Any country must have a certain level of surveillance on all the floating islands within their borders. The 1,000 layers of heavenly spirits being broken here should be able to attract the attention of the people of the Shunluo Empire. As Long Yu thought to himself, he urged the ancient Azura palace to change directions. Immediately after, he was still worried and once again condensed a desolate shadow. This desolate shadow was dressed in white and wore a mask. It headed towards a medium-sized city in another direction. Moreover, Long Yu ordered the desolate shadow to directly cause some commotion in the city. After doing all these things, Long Yu finally relaxed and began to cultivate in the ancient Azura palace. With the invisible ancient Azura palace, and the fact that he didn't expose his identity, even if the entire Shunluo Empire mobilized everyone, it would be difficult to find Long Yu. This was because the territory of this empire was too large. It was more than 5 times larger than the North Snow Empire. Even a martial emperor expert would need more than half a month to fly across the entire empire. How could it be easy to find a young man with an unknown identity in such a vast empire? Of course, Long Yu couldn't let his guard down. There were too many mysterious forces in this world. There might be someone who could deduce his current location and his true identity. Therefore, he couldn't stay in the Shunluo Empire for long. At the fastest speed, it would take him 3 days to leave the Shunluo Empire. He just needed to fly north, and he would soon be out of the territory of the Shunluo Empire. Brat, you still need me to clean up your mess for such a small matter. The envoy of death's voice was heard. He seemed to be rather dissatisfied with Long Yu's actions this time. Do you know that in just a few hours, there were several martial emperor experts deducing information about you? Fortunately, I blocked all of them for you. Otherwise, you would be caught up by the martial emperor experts in no time. Martial emperor experts? Deduction? Long Yu was rather surprised. That's right. Martial emperor experts have an extremely powerful innate skill. That is deduction. As long as they obtain something related to the other party, they can deduce most of the other party's information, including your current location, etc. The Envoy of Death said indifferently. I only blocked their deduction of your current location. I didn't block anything else. After all, I can't waste my energy on this. Therefore, the people of the Shenluo Empire should know your true identity now. You are the young genius from the North Snow Empire, Long Yu. There's actually such a heaven-defying skill. Long Yu frowned. Thank you, Senior Envoy. However, I suddenly thought of the trickster Jia Banxian. He could already deduce some simple things when he was in the Theurgy realm. If he stepped into the Martial Emperor realm, wouldn't he be extremely strong in the field of deduction? Then he must first step into the Martial Emperor realm. The Envoy of Death sneered. Long Yu didn't think too much about it. Since the Envoy of Death helped him block the Martial Emperor's deduction of his location, it meant that he was absolutely safe. If the other party didn't know where he was, how could they possibly kill him? At this point, Long Yu's whereabouts had become a complete mystery. No matter how much Martial Emperor experts tried to deduce, they couldn't deduce where Long Yu was. This made all the Martial Emperors in the Shenluo Empire quite puzzled. Especially the city lord of the City of Desolate God. As Situliuli's father, of course he wouldn't be willing to let the thing his daughter wanted be taken away. However, it just so happened that Long Yu was here. What could he do? Inside the City of Desolate God, Situliuli gave her maid Qian Yuxia a pill that could regenerate her body. The arm that was cut off should grow back within a month. This kind of pill wasn't hard to obtain for Situliuli. However, Situliuli was still angry. She had grown up in the City of Desolate God. When had she ever been taken advantage of by others? This time, not only did she suffer a loss, she suffered a great loss. This made her extremely angry. North Snow Empire's Long Yu, no matter what kind of genius you are, as long as I find out where you are, I will definitely grind your bones to dust. Situliuli's eyes were filled with endless hatred. It could be said that she was the one who started this whole thing. If she hadn't insisted on finding trouble with Long Yu and even asked her maid to cut off one of Long Yu's arms, how could Long Yu have suddenly exploded and done so many things? Regret and hatred, this was what Situliuli was feeling right now. Of course, hatred was still the majority in her heart. As for regret, it wasn't because she had caused trouble for Long Yu, but because she hadn't made enough preparations and allowed Long Yu to escape. This Situliuli was completely a spoiled girl. This was the first time that she had suffered a loss in her own territory. But if she continues to be this arrogant and domineering, there will definitely be a next time, and even more times. Losing 3 grand desolate grade pills wasn't a big deal. One day, when she loses her life, she will probably regret it right before her death, right? This Shen Wu world wasn't as peaceful as it seemed. Just the beasts' territories that were scattered all over the place weren't something that human or beast cultivators could fully explore. Once the beasts go berserk, not to mention a place like the Shen Luo Empire, even the alliance of 5 emperors wouldn't be able to suppress them. Shen Wu world was the small world inside the Geo Dragon Emperor's body. It contained endless ancient mysteries and countless dangers. Even an Emperor Realm cultivator would have a moment of death, not to mention an Emperor Realm cultivator's daughter like Situliuli. Of course, what happened to Situliuli had nothing to do with Long Yu. Chapter 757. With the Death Envoy personally acting to block off the Emperor Realm's calculations, Long Yu could be said to be completely safe. 15 days later, Long Yu had already left Shen Luo Empire's territory, riding the invisible Azura Palace towards the center of Shen Wu World, the alliance of 5 emperors. On the way, he passed by 2 empires, 5 dynasties, and even 2 large-scale sects, each of them ruling over a territory the size of an empire. In Shen Wu world, besides the empires and dynasties, there are also a few united nations, as well as sections. Their overall strength isn't any weaker than a large-scale empire. Every time Long Yu passed by a large-scale city, he would go down and check the exchange hall, buying any grand desolate pills that he hasn't used yet. At first, he was able to buy a few things he needed at every place, but later on, he found that there were probably only a few types of grand desolate pills in the entire Shenwu world. The number of grand desolate high-grade pills he hasn't used yet: 45 types, 30 types of grand desolate middle-grade pills, and 22 types of grand desolate low-grade pills. On the way, he finally sold all the beast crystals he had. Excluding the money he used to buy pills, he only had a few more shinbi on him. He even had 400,000 shinbi saved up. For the exchange hall, the huge profits from beast crystals were too attractive, so they were willing to buy them at a relatively high price, allowing Long Yu to make a lot of money. Long Yu was still more than half a mile away from the central city of the Alliance of 5 Emperors, the 5 Emperors' holy city. But now, he had finally trained his grand desolate high-grade martial skill, Dubhe Qi channeling, to completion. The heavenly pivot Qi drawing realm could increase his basic cultivation speed by 50%, and when he took pills, the effects of the pills would increase by 20%. For Long Yu, who was originally able to completely absorb the medicinal power of the pill, this 20% increase could be said to be like adding wings to a tiger. The principle was not to increase the spiritual qi stored in the pill out of thin air. Instead, after mastering the Dubhe Qi drawing technique, he could draw upon the power of the Dubhe star and convert it into any energy contained in the pill. In other words, this super grand desolate pill, Heavenly Dragon Pill, can increase the compatibility of divine runes by 20%? Long Yu thought to himself as he looked at the 3 supreme desolate grade pills curiously. The Heavenly Dragon Pill was a supreme desolate grade medicinal pill that he had snatched from the desolate god city. Along the way, he had only seen a supreme desolate grade medicinal pill in the Shenluo Empire's desolate god city. Then I'll try it. Long Yu had just cultivated the Dubhe Qi drawing technique to the large success stage. It was time for him to make a breakthrough. In fact, if he wanted to maximize the use of the medicinal pills and exotic beast crystals he had, Long Yu could choose to absorb them after he cultivated the Dubhe Qi drawing technique to the pinnacle stage. However, in that case, Long Yu's continuous improvement in martial arts cultivation would cause his martial arts realm to be unstable, which would not be good for his future improvement. Therefore, since he could break through by consuming a single pill, he should first break through before anything else. Long Yu closed his eyes and sat cross-legged in the central hall of the Azura Ancient Palace. Relying on the Nether Void Dragon Blade, he swallowed one of the Heavenly Dragon Pills. With the special effects of the Nether Void Dragon Blade, all the energy within the Heavenly Dragon Pill was completely absorbed and stored within the Nether Void Dragon Blade. Following that, Long Yu began to absorb the energy stored within the Nether Void Dragon Blade. At this time, he seemed to have activated the power of the Dubhe Star. A wisp of invisible energy transformed into the same energy as the pill and was absorbed by Long Yu into his body. The energy within the Heavenly Dragon Pill was divided into 2 parts. One part was heaven and earth spiritual energy that could increase one's martial arts realm. The other part was the energy that could increase the compatibility of the divine runes. This energy was distributed to every part of Long Yu's body. Shadow? Life? Right now, Long Yu was compatible with 2 different divine runes. His compatibility was at the 5th and 4th level. After taking the Heavenly Dragon Pill, he could feel that he could choose one of the 2 divine runes, allowing him to be more compatible with it. Shadow Divine Rune. Without any hesitation, Long Yu chose to fuse with the shadow attribute divine text. This was because the shadow attribute divine text was the source of all of his power. Aside from his second divine ability, Soul Seal Siphon, almost all of his other techniques required the shadow attribute divine text. Increasing the compatibility of the shadow divine rune also meant that Long Yu's overall strength had increased a step further. Unfortunately, Long Yu overestimated the power of the heavenly dragon pill. Or rather, he underestimated how hard it was to increase the compatibility of his divine rune to the 5th level. After taking a single priceless heavenly dragon pill, Long Yu's compatibility with the shadow divine rune was only increased by a bit. He was still halfway to the 6th level. Even a single grand desolate grade pill couldn't increase it. It seems the higher the compatibility, the harder it is. No wonder no one in Shen Wu world has ever reached the 9th level of compatibility, the requirements to train in divine formations, Long Yu thought to himself. As for the strongest combatants of Shen Wu world, like the 5 emperors, he hasn't seen them fight, so he naturally doesn't know what level they've reached. But from the Death Envoy, Long Yu found out that even though Shen Wu world has divine formations, they haven't developed much in this area. At least compared to the divine formations that the Death Envoy has, the difference is like the difference between heaven and earth. Divine rune compatibility, every time I increase it, the power of the corresponding technique will be doubled. If 1 heavenly dragon pill isn't enough, I'll take 2. If 2 isn't enough, I'll take 3. Long Yu was determined to strengthen his compatibility with the darkness attribute divine runes, so he directly swallowed the remaining 2 heavenly dragon pills. Even if it's a grand desolate grade pill, the second pill's effect will be halved, and the third pill will only have a quarter of the original effect. But since Long Yu has the Nether Dragon Blade, even if he takes the third pill, the effect is still the same as a normal martial cultivator taking the first pill. This is the most OP quality he has compared to others. An incomparably abundant amount of divine rune fusion energy poured down from the Dubhe star in the sky, increasing the effect of the heavenly dragon pill by 20%. But even so, after absorbing all 3 heavenly dragon pills' divine rune fusion energy, Long Yu was still unable to achieve a 6th level fusion with the shadow attribute divine rune. Just a little bit more, seems like I'll have to take it slow. Long Yu shook his head, but didn't feel too bad about it. Because the compatibility with the divine rune can be increased through various means. For example, whenever Long Yu uses Hand of 9 Underworlds, or 9 Underworlds Dragon Breath, or 9 Underworlds Dragon Explosion, etc., he'll be able to increase his compatibility with the Shadow Divine Rune, but the speed is very slow. After taking 3 Heavenly Dragon Pills, Long Yu's compatibility with the Shadow Divine Rune is about to reach level 6. Even if he takes it slow, he'll be able to break through very soon. Next, the 5 Divine Abilities. Just now, Long Yu first absorbed the Divine Rune compatibility power. Then, he began to absorb the Heaven and Earth spiritual chi to break through. The 5th Death God Divine Ability seed in his Dantian finally began to absorb the Heaven and Earth spiritual chi and began to condense. Compared to the previous 4 Divine Abilities, the 5th Divine Ability is completely out of the cultivator's control. This is because the previous 4 Divine Abilities are all ordinary Divine Abilities, but starting from the 5th Divine Ability, it's a high-grade Divine Ability. If it's an offensive Divine Ability, even if it's only comprehended to the 1st level, its power will surpass the power of an ordinary 3rd-level Divine Ability. Not to mention, the Divine Ability seeds in Long Yu's Dantian are all Death God Divine Ability seed. They contain the power of the Death God's heavenly tribulation. As long as they condense successfully, they'll start off as a 3rd-level Divine Ability. It's said that starting from the 5th Divine Ability, the last 3 Divine Abilities are all bestowed by the heavens. Death Envoy, what do you think? Long Yu tried to ask the Death Envoy while using the Heaven and Earth Spiritual Chi to activate the Death God Divine Ability Seed. He wasn't sure if the Death Envoy would answer him. However, traveling alone for such a long time makes him very bored. It's not bad to have a chance to communicate with the Death Envoy. This time, the Death Envoy answered, "Do you really believe that there's such an existence as the heavens in this world?" The Death Envoy smiled disdainfully. The power of the 7 divine abilities comes from the cultivator himself. The reason why the last 3 divine abilities are called high-grade innate divine abilities is because at this level, the cultivator's basic power will become stronger. Naturally, the power of the divine ability condensed will also be stronger. As for the fact that you can't choose what kind of divine ability it is, that's even more of a joke. In outer space, there are many special methods that allow the cultivator to choose the type of the last 3 divine abilities. Whether it's offensive, defensive, or auxiliary, it's all possible. It's just that there's no such method here. I'd like to see what kind of high-grade innate divine ability you can give birth to. As one of the inheritors of the Geo-Dragon Emperor, this envoy is very curious about you. Hearing the Death Envoy's words, Long Yu could only be puzzled. It seemed that this old fellow wasn't going to teach him any special methods and let him choose the 5 divine abilities. Since that's the case, then I'll leave it to fate. Divine Ability Fruit Condense. The vast spiritual chi of the 3 heavenly dragon pills all condensed on Long Yu's 5th divine ability seed, urging it to condense into a divine ability fruit. The amount of heaven and earth spiritual chi required to break through from the 4th divine ability to the 5th divine ability was almost the sum of the previous 4 divine abilities. One could imagine that anyone's 5th divine ability would definitely be much more powerful. This was something he had already felt from Long Yu's battles with many experts of the 7 divine powers realm, and even the king realm. Chapter 758. A pitch-black page. Long Yu was a little puzzled by the appearance of the divine ability fruit. What kind of power did this mean for his 5th ability? It's actually a book. If you don't know what it's used for, why don't you try fighting a sealed beast? The Death Envoy's interested voice sounded. Long Yu nodded. Since he didn't know what it was used for, he might as well give it a try. In any case, there were tens of thousands of Ice God clan beasts sealed in the Azura ancient palace. He could just pull one out and fight it. Long Yu listened to the Death Envoy's suggestion and dragged out a 7 transcendent realm Ice God clan beast from the sealed space of the Azura ancient palace. It had been sealed for such a long time that it naturally hated Long Yu. As soon as it saw Long Yu, the hexagonal ice crystal Ice God clan beast emitted a cold air from its body. It controlled the ice attribute divine runes to attack Long Yu, condensing into a violent ice whirlwind. 5th ability, Go. Long Yu directly activated the divine ability fruit. Immediately, the pitch-black page was projected to the outside world. A beam of black light shot out from it, enveloping the Ice God clan beast. Immediately after, Long Yu was hit by a violent ice whirlwind. But before that, Long Yu displayed the barrier of death and directly blocked the attack. After all, it was only a 7 transcendent realm Ice God clan beast. Long Yu could easily block its attack. But now, Long Yu was more interested in the Ice God clan beast that was enveloped by the beam of light from the pitch-black page. Was there any change? However, when the black beam of light disappeared, Long Yu found that the Ice God clan beast was not affected at all. What's going on? Long Yu frowned. Seeing that the beast wanted to continue roaring and attacking him, he raised his hand and put the beast back into the sealed space of the Azura ancient palace. Soon, Long Yu noticed the changes to the black page. After projecting it onto the Ice God race exotic beast, the image of an Ice God race exotic beast appeared on the black page. It was obviously exactly the same as the Ice God race exotic beast from before. Long Yu still did not know what the use of his 5th divine ability was. However, when he tried to activate the black page again, something miraculous happened. The power of ice divine runes floated out from the black page and enveloped Long Yu's entire body. In just a short moment, Long Yu's entire body had transformed into the appearance of the Ice God clan's exotic beast. Transformation, disguise? Long Yu was instantly overjoyed. This kind of divine ability was an extremely useful thing. Right now, he could disguise himself as an ice god beast. In other words, as long as his fifth divine ability probed him, he would be able to disguise himself as the other party. Exotic beasts could do it, but what about humans? Where are the demonic beasts? Or even the items? Long Yu thought to himself. Then, he activated his fifth divine ability, the pitch-black page, and probed the stone table beside him. Soon after, he saw that the picture of the Ice God clan's beast on the pitch-black page directly transformed into the picture of the stone table. Change. With a thought, Long Yu found that he really had turned into a table. This was not an illusion or any other means of deception, but a real change of form. Long Yu knew that his thoughts still existed on this table. No, that's not it. When I transformed into this table, my body was absorbed by the black page. In other words, the black page used a special power to simulate a table, and then swapped the real me with the table image on the page. Long Yu continued to study this novel ability. Before using it, he had to fully understand its nature. Otherwise, he might be in big trouble at the critical moment. It was only after a day and a night that Long Yu had thoroughly studied this pitch-black page. Long Yu called his fifth divine ability, Book of Shadows. This was because he had a premonition that once he comprehended this divine ability into a mid-level divine ability, or even a high-level divine ability, it would display even more abilities. It wouldn't just be the ability to disguise and transform. After disguising himself, Long Yu would not be able to use any of his abilities. He would not be able to use any martial techniques or magical abilities. Only his appearance would be completely changed, and his body would be hidden in the alternate space of the Book of Shadows. The principle behind this was rather complicated, but all Long Yu needed to know was that he could freely transform into anyone, any creature, and even any item. It seems that I was born to be an assassin, Long Yu thought to himself and shook his head in puzzlement. This magical ability could not increase his combat power, but it made him more agile. Even his escaping and chasing abilities had become outstanding. The only pity was that the current Book of Shadows could only store the form of one item. After Long Yu transformed into the stone table, he could no longer transform into the Ice God clan beast. Maybe when I comprehend the magical ability more deeply, I can store the form of more people. Long Yu shook his head. He could only think about it this way for now. Immediately after, he continued to practice the great desolate grade martial technique, the Dubhe Chi drawing. He wanted to cultivate it to the transformative stage as soon as possible, but it would take time. The cultivation of martial techniques was mostly built up over time. The more times he used it, the longer he comprehended it, and the more mastery he would have. Dark Dragon 9 Explosions and Ancient Desolate Shadow Kill were two great desolate grade martial techniques that Long Yu had already comprehended and reached the transformative stage. He was still cultivating powerful martial techniques, one of which was the 9 Underworld Heavenly Light. Now that he had comprehended the 9 Underworld Heavenly Light to the greater success stage, it would not be easy for him to improve further. Although it was said that the more times he used a combat martial technique like the 9 Underworld Heavenly Light, the easier it would be for him to achieve a breakthrough, it was different when he used it in battle. When there were no enemies, Long Yu could also use the 9 Underworld Heavenly Light at will. But at that time, the improvement in his comprehension of this martial technique could be said to be minimal. Combat martial techniques can be cultivated slowly, but the Dubhe Chi drawing has to reach the transformative stage as soon as possible. That way, the effects of medicinal pills will be maximized. Long Yu now knew that his greatest disadvantage was his martial arts realm, so he did not focus on cultivating the 9 underworld heavenly light. Of course, because he needed to consume a lot of divine script's power to use his various martial techniques, and there was a long time gap between each use, Long Yu would choose a King Realm early stage ice god beast to fight against every once in a while. This didn't take up too much time, but during battle, he could quickly improve his understanding of his various techniques, including the 9 underworld heavenly light, 9 underworld hand, soul seal siphon, 9 underworld dragon breath, and so on. A while ago, when he was fully focused on comprehending the Dubhe drawing, he did the same. Through constant battles, he gained a clearer understanding of his own techniques, and his understanding of them also increased. And in his free time, he would constantly feel the power of the Dubhe stars, thus increasing his understanding of Dubhe drawing. With so many ice god beasts as Long Yu's opponents, Long Yu's understanding of martial techniques and thaumaturgy increased by leaps and bounds. 2 months after he left the North Snow Empire, Long Yu finally got close to the center of Shen Wu world, where the 5 Emperors' holy city was located. On the way, Long Yu found that the closer he got to the 5 Emperors' holy city, the more prosperous it became. Most of the pills he bought in the city weren't available in the more remote areas. Of course, on the way, Long Yu had already bought almost all the great desolate pills. He bought 3 of each type of pill, and the combined amount of spirit energy they contained was enough for Long Yu to break through to 7 Daos thaumaturgy realm. As for reaching the Emperor Path secret realm, it wasn't that easy. To break through to the Emperor Path secret realm, one needs to open an inner world inside their body, which requires a huge amount of spirit energy. One could imagine how much spirit energy a 7 Daos thaumaturgy realm cultivator like Olden, who spent 300 years and still couldn't break through to King Realm, would need to open an inner world? 8 special beast crystals should be enough, right? Of course, to open an inner world, the most important thing is to form a world seed inside my body. As for how this world seed came about, it's hard to explain. I can only wait until I reach 7 Daos thaumaturgy realm before I can understand it. As Long Yu thought about his own path of martial arts, he knew that he wasn't far from reaching the Emperor Path secret realm. With the Nether Dragon Blade, absorbing 1 pill is equivalent to a normal person absorbing 3 or 4 pills. This is his unique advantage. Combined with the financial support, he wouldn't lack pills at all. For Long Yu, the spirit energy of heaven and earth is no longer a limiting factor for him to increase his martial arts realm. Right now, all he has to think about is how to stabilize his own martial arts realm. Breaking through too quickly isn't a good thing. If your realm isn't stable, you might not even be familiar with your new power after breaking through, which could cause your fighting strength to decrease instead of increase. This was also the biggest reason why Long Yu didn't choose to directly consume those desolate grade pills. He wanted to stabilize his foundation in every realm. Only then would he have a solid foundation. Only then would he be able to step into the King Realm in the strongest manner possible. There's less than 2 years until the Shen Wu Imperial Conclave, and before that, there will be a competition for the strongest King Realm cultivators. I'd like to participate, to see just how strong the strongest King Realm cultivators of Shen Wu world is. Raising his head, Long Yu saw a huge city at the edge of his field of vision. That is the 5 Emperors' holy city, the center of Shen Wu world, the headquarters of the alliance of 5 Emperors. This is the most prosperous place in Shen Wu world. It's countless times more developed than a remote place like the North Snow Kingdom. Even normal grand desolate high-grade pills can only be bought here for half the price of the North Snow Kingdom. Merchants from all over the world can buy cultivation resources from the 5 Emperors' holy city, then spend half a year to transport them to other countries, earning an uncountable amount of wealth. This is the 5 Emperors' holy city. Long Yu looked up and saw that in the center of the sacred city of 5 emperors, there was a white pagoda that pierced through the clouds, looking incomparably majestic. From that pagoda, Long Yu could actually feel the aura of the divine runic crystals from thousands of miles away. The Alliance of 5 Emperors is the only organization in Shin Wu world that knows how to use divine text crystals to strengthen buildings. Chapter 759. Not just anyone can strengthen a building with a divine rune crystal. At that time, Long Yu had the guidance of the Death Envoy. Only then did he know where to integrate the divine rune crystals into the various buildings. Moreover, he needed to use a special method to process the divine rune crystals before he could integrate them into the buildings. It was normal for the Death Envoy to know about this method. But what about the Alliance of 5 Emperors? Could it be that the Alliance of 5 Emperors of Shin Wu world has some sort of connection with Beyond Heaven world? Long Yu couldn't help but think about it, and the more he thought about it, the more he felt it was possible. He raised his head and looked at the white tower at the end of the horizon. He knew that it was the most obvious symbol of the 5 Emperors' holy city. It could be seen with the naked eye from thousands of miles away. In front of Long Yu, there was a vast grassland with roads leading to the center of the 5 Emperors' holy city. There were countless cultivators going to and fro the 5 Emperors' holy city. It was a bustling scene. Long Yu thought for a bit, then grabbed a martial cultivator that was locked in the Azura ancient palace. This martial cultivator was the one that Long Yu had sealed in the Azura ancient palace. He didn't expect it to come in handy now. In just a moment, Long Yu used his 5th thaumaturgy, the Book of Shadows, to change into the appearance of this 5-Daos divinity realm martial cultivator. An ordinary-looking middle-aged man, not bad, not bad. Long Yu nodded in satisfaction, then finally left the Azura ancient palace and flew towards the road leading to the 5 Emperors' holy city. Even the Death Envoy was quite afraid of the 5 Emperors' holy city. He didn't dare to approach it, and reminded Long Yu that he could only leave the Azura ancient palace outside the city and let the Death Envoy watch over it. In the past, no matter where Long Yu went, the Death Envoy would secretly follow him. But now, he decided to let Long Yu go to the 5 Emperors' holy city alone. There was no other way. The Death Envoy was afraid of being discovered by someone in the 5 Emperors' holy city. If that happened, the situation would be very bad. Although the Death Envoy could fight against an Emperor realm powerhouse, he couldn't use that kind of power forever. After all, the Death Envoy's power was equivalent to his life. If he used up all his power, his life would completely dissipate. Long Yu didn't mind entering the 5 Emperors' holy city by himself. He didn't come to the 5 Emperors' holy city to cause any trouble, so there shouldn't be any danger. Long Yu turned into an ordinary middle-aged man and appeared on a road 100 miles away from the 5 Emperors' sacred city. No one showed any strange expression towards his appearance. No one was surprised by his appearance because there were too many people on this road. Long Yu walked on the road from the roadside and naturally blended into the crowd heading to the 5 Emperors' holy city. Within 100 miles of the 5 Emperors' holy city, there was a powerful forbidden space formation. No one could fly within this range, so they could only walk on the road. As Long Yu walked, he summarized the results of his cultivation in the past 2 months. The Dubhichi guiding art didn't break through from great success to the peak, but it was almost there. The Hand of 9 Nether, Soul Seal Siphon, and Dragon Breath of the 9 Nether, these 3 innate techniques had all improved by 1 level. Among them, the Hand of 9 Nether and Dragon Breath of the 9 Nether had reached the 5th level, and the Soul Seal Siphon had stepped into the 6th level. Its power was much stronger than before. Most importantly, after fighting with the beasts of the Ice God tribe recently, Long Yu's affinity with the Shadow Attribute Divine Text had finally broken through to the 6th level. Level 6 affinity with the shadow attribute divine text was something that ordinary martial practitioners could only achieve when they were in the Emperor Path arcane realm. However, Long Yu was only in the 5 Paths divinity realm. As long as he reached level 9 affinity with the shadow attribute divine text, Long Yu would ask the Death Envoy for the cultivation method of the God formation. That was a terrifying technique that was 10 times stronger than the God chains. If I convert all 350 divine text crystals, I'm afraid I'll have completely comprehended the divine text of the 9 Nether by now. However, I don't have enough free time, and I still have to use the divine text crystals to repair the Dragon Bone Tower. It's better not to use these divine text crystals for now. Long Yu couldn't help but shake his head when he thought of this. It was rather difficult to completely repair the Dragon Bone Tower. According to the Death Envoy, there were 3 steps in total. The first step was to use 1,000 first-class divine text crystals to repair the Dragon Bone Tower. After this step was completed, the Dragon Bone Tower could evolve from a Desolate Grade Warrior to an Archean Grade Warrior. The second step required 10,000 first-class divine text crystals to repair the Dragon Bone Tower into an Archean Grade Warrior. At this level, most of the Dragon Bone Tower's power and functions would have been restored, but it was not the final level. The Dragon Bone Tower in the hands of the Juyo Dragon Emperor had sealed billions of beasts. It was even more terrifying than an Archean Grade Warrior. In order to restore the ancient dragon skeleton tower to its peak state, he would need another 100,000 first-class divine rune crystals. Even in outer space, so many divine rune crystals were an extremely terrifying amount of wealth. Most people would not be able to produce such a sum. One could imagine how bumpy the road ahead would be for Long Yu to repair the Dragon Bone Tower. Maybe I'll be able to buy a few divine text crystals in the holy city of the 5 emperors, Long Yu thought to himself, looking forward to what he could find in the holy city of the 5 emperors. This was the center of Shen Wu world. As long as it was something that existed in Shen Wu world, it would be here. If something couldn't be found here, it would be hard to find it anywhere else in Shen Wu world. Furthermore, everything in the holy city of the 5 emperors was cheaper than anywhere else. That's why Long Yu sold all of the beast crystals on the way. In the holy city of the 5 emperors, the price of the beast crystals was only half of what it was in the outlying areas. With 400,000 Shinbi in his pocket, Long Yu headed towards the holy city of the 5 emperors, hoping to buy a few divine text crystals. It would be best if he could buy 650 first-class divine text crystals to repair the Dragon Bone Tower into an Archean Grade Warrior. "Brother, are you alone?" While Long Yu was walking, a middle-aged man suddenly caught up to him. He had a kind face and wore luxurious clothes, but his martial realm wasn't high, only 3-stage thaumaturgy realm. "Seems like he was a merchant." "That's right," Long Yu nodded. He casually glanced behind him and discovered that this middle-aged man was actually the leader of a caravan. There were more than 10 people in the caravan, and there were 2 Emperor Realm bodyguards among them. If even the guards were Emperor Realm, then this middle-aged man must be quite a force to be reckoned with. After all, Emperor Realm cultivators in the outlying areas could easily become kings and establish their own empires, but here, they were nothing more than guards for a merchant group. "My surname is Lin, my name is Ruaitsai, I'm a member of the Lin merchant group." After receiving Long Yu's confirmation, the middle-aged man smiled even more warmly. "Brother, where are you from? Have you heard of the Lin merchant group?" "I'm from a faraway place, I've never heard of the Lin merchant group." Long Yu shook his head. He really hadn't heard of the Lin merchant group. In fact, when he was 100,000 miles away from the holy city of the 5 emperors, he didn't leave the Azura ancient palace, nor did he ask about the situation in the holy city of the 5 emperors. The Lin Trading Company is one of the 3 largest trading companies that do business with the sacred city of 5 emperors as the center and within the vicinity of the 6 sects and 10 nations. Lin Ruaitsai introduced with a smile. It was obvious that Lin Ruizai had great confidence in the Lin merchant group. As for the 6 sects and 10 countries, Long Yu had heard of them before. It was said that they were the 16 giants around the holy city of the 5 emperors. Each sect, each empire, had hundreds of emperor realm cultivators. The 6 sects and 10 countries were the strongest existences in the entire Shen Wu world besides the alliance of 5 emperors. In fact, besides the strongest 5 emperors, the rest of the people in the alliance of 5 emperors were all geniuses from all over the world. In the Elder Council of the alliance of 5 emperors, some of the emperor realm cultivators came from the nearby 6 sects and 10 countries. It was clear how powerful the 6 sects and 10 countries were. To be able to make a name for themselves in this area and become one of the 3 largest merchant groups, this Lin merchant group was truly amazing. So that's how it is. Then why did you come to find me? Long Yu pretended not to know and asked Lin Ruizai with a confused expression. Brother, do you have a special beast crystal on you? Lin Ruizai finally revealed his goal. Our Lin merchant group has the highest price for beast crystals among the 3 largest merchant group. Brother, why don't you take it out for me to take a look? As expected. Of course, Long Yu knew what the other party's goal was. Because in fact, he had purposely put the special crystal in his pocket to let it emit a special aura to attract some merchant group. In the 5 emperors' holy city's no-fly zone, no one would dare to rob them. Long Yu wanted to understand the situation before entering the 5 emperors' holy city. Of course, he could only think of a way to hook up with a few organizations with enough power. He didn't think that he would directly attract the attention of one of the 3 largest merchant groups, Lin Merchant Group. I'm Wang Tai. Long Yu finally announced his name, then took out the Theurgy Secret Realm's special crystal. Take a look. How much is this special crystal worth? Lin Ruizai took a look and saw that it was only a Theurgy Secret Realm special crystal. He couldn't help but feel a little disappointed, but he still maintained his smile. I can give you 8,000 Shinbi. This price is already very high in the 5 emperors' holy city. If you don't sell it now, I'm afraid you can only sell it for 6,000 Shinbi in the holy city. The closer one was to the 5 emperors' holy city, and even within the 5 emperors' holy city, the prices of all kinds of things were much cheaper. There was no doubt about this. To think that a special crystal that could be sold for more than 10,000 Shinbi in the North Snow Empire could only be sold for 6,000 Shinbi in the 5 emperors' holy city. Of course, there was a reason for this. If one wasn't like Long Yu, who could leisurely travel in the Azura Ancient Palace, it would be very risky for other merchant groups to transport things from the 5 emperors' holy city far away. Especially in the area around the 6 sects and 10 countries, there were many bandit groups. Even the alliance of 5 emperors had a headache dealing with them. This was because the leaders of these bandits were all Emperor Realm experts. They weren't weak, and they specialized in robbing people for a living. Things that were cheap in the 5 emperors' holy city would become very expensive when transported to a remote area. There were even many things that couldn't be transported that far away. However, danger also meant opportunity. In this world where martial arts were respected, who didn't want to stand out and use less money to exchange for more cultivation resources? This was also the biggest reason why the 5 emperors' holy city was so attractive to cultivators. 8,000 is too low. I don't want to sell it. Long Yu shook his head and put the special crystal into his pocket. Then he asked, I want to ask, does your merchant group sell divine rune crystals? Hearing Long Yu's words, Lin Ruizai's expression changed. Chapter 760. Obviously, Lin Ruizai knew about the existence of divine rune crystals. However, he was surprised that Long Yu knew about it. Divine rune crystals. That was a top-notch cultivation resource that only the alliance of 5 emperors had access to. Ordinary people couldn't get their hands on them because there were too few of them. Only the elites of the Alliance of Five Emperors had access to a small amount. Brother Wang, even our Lin trading firm can't get our hands on divine rune crystals. Lin Rueitsai's expression turned gloomy. How do you know about it? Even in the sacred cities of Five Emperors, you won't be able to buy a divine text crystal. This item is only circulated within the Five Emperors Alliance, and only the top geniuses are qualified to obtain a small amount to increase their comprehension of divine text. So precious? Long Yu was surprised. He didn't expect divine rune crystals to not be circulated in the outside world. And from Lin Rueitsai's words, Long Yu also learned something. That was, the outside world's understanding of divine runic crystals was limited to increasing one's comprehension of divine runes. Even Lin Rueitsai, the steward of the Lin clan's trading firm, didn't seem to know that divine runic crystals could be used to strengthen buildings. It seemed that the Alliance of Five Emperors had hidden this fact very well. Of course. Lin Rueitsai waved his hand dismissively. As for other medicinal pills, combat weapons, martial skills, even ancient ones, I can get them for you, as long as you can afford them. Only the divine runic crystals are not something we can get our hands on. Perhaps Lin Rueitsai knew more about the divine rune crystals. However, it was clear that he didn't want to tell Long Yu too much. After all, it wouldn't be of any benefit to him. So, he directly used an ancient ranked treasure to attract Long Yu. In his heart, he was thinking that based on Long Yu's current display of 5 transcendent realm cultivation bases, he definitely wouldn't be able to afford ancient-grade items. However, he might be able to afford great desolate-grade, high-grade medicinal pills and battle weapons. As long as he could seal a deal, he would definitely be able to make a profit. Lin Rueitsai never let go of any opportunity to do business. He always focused on profit. I don't need battle weapons and martial skills, but do you really have ancient-tier medicinal pills here? When Long Yu heard this, his eyes lit up and he asked directly. As for ancient-grade pills, he really hadn't seen any along the way. The best he had seen were the 3 heavenly dragon pills, which were grand desolate-grade transcendent-grade ancient-grade pills. Even though they were only ancient-grade low-grade pills, the heaven and earth spiritual chi they contained definitely surpassed the heavenly dragon pills. However, a low-grade ancient pill would not be like the heavenly dragon pill, which had the special effect of increasing one's compatibility with divine runes. Ancient-grade medicinal pill? Lin Rueitsai was given a fright by Long Yu's words. This guy, he really wanted an ancient medicinal pill? That was something worth at least 100,000 shinbi. Lin Rue had originally thought that this middle-aged man must have obtained a special crystal by chance, which was why he came to the holy city of the 5 emperors to exchange for some cultivation resources that were more useful to him. In other words, in Lin Rue's eyes, Long Yu's value was at most that special crystal. Who would have thought that he would ask for an ancient-grade medicinal pill? Of course, Lin Rue was shocked. The most common ancient-grade medicinal pill contains 20 times the heaven and earth spiritual chi of a great desolate-grade upper-grade medicinal pill. It's worth at least 100,000 shinbi. Lin Rueitsai did not look down on Long Yu. He only reminded him in a calm tone. He was a businessman, so of course he would not look down on others. He knew that many people who looked like they had no money on the surface were in fact very rich. There were also many people who looked weak on the surface, but actually had tyrannical cultivation, such as Lin Rue. Therefore, Lin Rue would never look down on anyone. Even if it was a body-tempering realm kid, he would still maintain the respect he deserved. 100,000 shinbi. I can actually afford it. Long Yu smiled faintly, but I wonder what kind of ancient-grade medicinal pills the Lin merchant firm has? Brother Wang. Lin Rue was rather surprised. Ancient-grade medicinal pills contain rich heaven and earth spiritual chi. Normally, only Emperor Realm cultivators would use them. If an ordinary cultivator were to casually consume them, they would probably explode and die. This was also a friendly reminder. However, to Long Yu, this was not a problem at all. He had the Netherworld Dragon Blade, which could completely store the spiritual chi of heaven and earth. If he was about to explode and die, he could let the Netherworld Dragon Blade store the spiritual chi and absorb it when he needed it in the future. Of course, there was no need to tell Lin Rui. Fortunately, Lin Rui wasn't overly surprised. After reminding Long Yu, he began to introduce the ancient-grade medicinal pills the Lin merchant firm had. There are two types of mid-ancient-grade medicinal pills that can only be refined by our chief alchemist. One is called the Phoenix Reverence Pill, and the other is called the Sunset Pill. The heaven and earth spiritual chi they contain is 10 times the heaven and earth spiritual chi of a low desolate grade medicinal pill, or 200 times the heaven and earth spiritual chi of a great desolate grade medicinal pill. But I don't think Brother Wang needs these two pills. They are too expensive, with each one selling for at least 500,000 shinbi. Moreover, due to the complexity of the ingredients and the difficulty of refining them, our merchant firm doesn't have much in stock. We can only refine 3 pills per month, and they will be auctioned off at the Holy City's auction at the end of the month. There are 5 types of low ancient grade medicinal pills in total, each priced between 100,000 shinbi to 150,000 shinbi. The higher the price, the more heaven and earth spiritual chi they contain. The highest one contains 30 times the heaven and earth spiritual chi of a high desolate grade medicinal pill, and the lowest is 20 times the heaven and earth spiritual chi of a high desolate grade medicinal pill. We do have some low ancient grade medicinal pills in stock, but we can't give them to you right now. They are all in Holy City. Lin Ruizai quickly explained the situation of ancient elixirs, which could be considered as a rather detailed introduction. Do you have supreme or great desolate grade pellets? Long Yu thought for a bit, then asked. Supreme desolate grade medicinal pills. Our Lin merchant firm's head pill refiner knows how to refine a type of medicinal pill called the Imperial Flame Saint Pill. It's a top-grade medicinal pill for those who comprehend Fire Divine Script. Not only will it increase your cultivation, it will also greatly increase your compatibility with Fire Divine Script. After Lin Rui Kai finished, he smiled bitterly. As for supreme-grade medicinal pills, they are only legends in the entire Shenwu world. At least I've never seen one before. If even Lin Rui Kai hasn't seen one before, then it's basically impossible to find one in the entire Shenwu world. It seems that any supreme-grade medicinal pills, even supreme-grade weapons and martial skills are extremely hard to come by in Shenwu world. If anyone else were to find out what Long Yu has, a large group of people would probably come to kill him. Supreme-grade martial skills? Supreme-grade weapons? He has everything. Aside from supreme-grade medicinal pills, he has everything else. Not to mention, even the power of divine script he comprehended is the strongest origin, far surpassing the majority of martial cultivators in Shenwu world. The Imperial Flame Saint Pill can only be used with Fire Divine Script? Long Yu subconsciously asked. I've heard of a type of transcendent grade pellet before, called the Heavenly Dragon Pellet. That kind of pellet seems to be stronger than this Yanhuang Holy Dan. Any type of divine rune can increase the compatibility. The Heavenly Dragon Pill is something that belongs to one of the 3 great merchant firms. Lin Rui Kai didn't try to hide it and explained. Although the Heavenly Dragon Pill is useful for all cultivators, its actual effect isn't that obvious, especially after reaching level 5 compatibility with Divine Script. Taking the Heavenly Dragon Pill has almost no effect at all. But the Imperial Flame Saint Pill is different. Even if you have reached level 5 compatibility with Fire Divine Script, taking a single Imperial Flame Saint Pill can directly increase your compatibility by 1 level. So that's how it is. Long Yu suddenly understood and nodded his head. He believed Lin Ruizai's words. Even though he had taken 3 Heavenly Dragon Pills previously, he still hadn't been able to achieve a 6th level compatibility with darkness attribute divine characters. It must be known that the effects of these pills were more than 3 times that of ordinary martial cultivators. If the Nether Dragon Blade didn't fully utilize the medicinal effects of the medicinal pills, even if Long Yu took 3 Heavenly Dragon pills, his compatibility with Shadow Divine Script would still only be level 5. He wouldn't have been able to reach level 6 so quickly. And the Imperial Flame Saint Pill is basically a holy medicine for cultivators who comprehend Fire Divine Script. It can increase compatibility by 1 level in one go. Among the 3 great merchant firms, one of you has the Imperial Flame Saint Pill, the other one has the Heavenly Dragon Pill. Then what about the last one? What kind of grand, desolate grade medicinal pill can it refine? Long Yu was a bit curious, and didn't care that Lin Rui Kai was a member of the Lin merchant firm, so he directly asked. He felt that Lin Rui Kai was a relatively easy person to talk to, so it shouldn't be difficult to get some information from him. As a way to thank him, Long Yu's final actions would definitely not disappoint Lin Rui Kai. There's another one. Their medicinal pill market is bigger than the other 2 combined. Lin Rui Kai smiled faintly. Because they can refine 3 kinds of grand desolate grade medicinal pills, one of which is called the Shadow Emperor Pill. It increases compatibility with Shadow Divine Script, and its effects are similar to our Imperial Flame Saint Pill. The only difference is that it's suitable for different people. When Long Yu heard this, he was immediately overjoyed. The Shadow Emperor Pill increased compatibility with Shadow Divine Script. This medicinal pill was refined deliberately for him. If the effect of the Shadow Emperor Pill was similar to that of the Imperial Flame Saint Pill, then Long Yu only needed to take 3 of them to reach level 7 compatibility with Shadow Divine Script. Long Yu wanted to continue listening, but Lin Rui Kai was still introducing the other 2 supreme medicinal pills. However, a rather arrogant voice suddenly came from behind. Uncle Lin, this guy is obviously poor. Why bother talking so much nonsense with him? This was the voice of a young man, and his tone was rather arrogant. Even if I tell him so much, can he still afford such medicinal pills? Grand desolate grade medicinal pills, ancient grade medicinal pills, these are not things that a mere divine ability realm trash can touch. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.